Chapter 545. Looking at Soul Eater's gaze, the hand holding the Chaos Dragon spear shrank back and did not answer. It doesn't matter if you don't tell me. After I search your soul, I will know what secrets you have. Hearing Soul Eater's words, Lin Rei's face turned ugly. Seeing that Soul Eater was about to come in front of him and search his soul, Lin Rei was suddenly filled with helplessness. Looking at the tens of thousands of long swords behind him and then at Soul Eater in front of him, he did not know who he could rely on. The little dragon he was cultivating at the moment. The system? It was a little unrealistic. Looking at Soul Eater who was close at hand, Lin Rei's heart was full of contradictions. Thinking of his wife in the system, his brothers, and his dead wife and children, Lin Rei regretted it. He regretted that he was not strong enough and that he did not have the ability to reach the 6th level and enter the world of spirits and souls. He regretted everything that he did not do, but what was the use? At this moment, he did not know if he could survive. Looking at Lin Rei closing his eyes and waiting for death, Soul Eater smiled happily and felt very carefree. Come on, let me see what is in your mind. Hearing the voice, Lin Rei's consciousness began to blur in the next moment. All he saw was the good, the bad, the pain, the suffering, the killing, the saving, and all kinds of things that he had experienced in his life. At this moment, it was like a movie playing in his mind. Not bad. I didn't expect this kid to be living a good life. So many beauties. Not bad, one is dead. Although his consciousness was blurry, Lin Rei could still hear Soul Eater's voice. Hearing his words, Lin Rei's heart sank. Am I going to die here today? Although he wanted to struggle, he felt powerless. It was as if he was sleeping. Although he wanted to stand up and shout, he did not have any strength. The memories in his mind were still appearing little by little. However, what puzzled Lin Rei was that although he had entered the system many times before, there was not a single scene in his memory. However, when he thought about it, he knew that all of this was deliberately blocked by the system. This is interesting. Hearing Soul Eater's words, Lin Rei looked at the memories left behind at this moment. What he saw was his first wife, Jean Ling, learning battle techniques, and beside her was his son, Jean En. Looking at the familiar faces and their smiles, Lin Rei, who had unconsciously closed his eyes, began to cry. Tears flowed out of his eyes. Dragon subduing steps. Although it's not a very high-level step, being able to cultivate the illusion of the Azure Dragon is still not easy. As he spoke, the memory of that scene instantly disappeared. Seeing his own memories being extracted, Lin Rei's heart ached. It wasn't because of the dragon subduing step, but because he had the memories of his wife and child. Oh, you still want to resist? Do you think you have the strength to do so? Sensing Lin Rei's anger, Soul Eater sneered disdainfully and continued reading. Following Soul Eater's steps, once again, the photos of him taking away his wife and child appeared. Lin Rei remembered that it was the memory of when he taught them the 3rd level of incineration. Lin Rei vaguely remembered that his wife, Jean Ling, was very insistent in order to help him. For this reason, she suffered a lot. Lin Rei tried to persuade her, but in the end, it was useless. 3rd level incineration, TSK, not bad, take it. As he spoke, that memory also disappeared. Seeing his memories of his wife, Jean Ling, disappear bit by bit, his heart was in so much pain that he couldn't breathe. No. Don't. With great difficulty, the unconscious Lin Rei opened his mouth with great difficulty. The tears in his eyes didn't stop. In order to speak, the veins on his face bulged, making him look very ferocious. Lin Rei's voice sounded. Immediately, Soul Eater was so scared that he hurriedly checked his own soul and retrieved it. However, after retrieving his soul, he was surprised when he saw that Lin Rei didn't wake up. Not bad, you're a good material. You're the first one who can speak when I'm using Soul Search. I believe you'll be the last. Although he said that, Soul Eater didn't stop. His soul entered Lin Rei's mind again and began to search. Little by little, Star Finger, Sky Raising Palm, Silent Thunder Spear Art, Azura Spear Art, Myriad Sword Art, and Free Unrestrained Sword Art were all found and taken away by Soul Eater. Seeing his own things being taken away, Lin Rei's heart was filled with anger and resentment. However, after all this, all the resentment and anger from before disappeared. After all this, Lin Rei's excited heart calmed down. He calmly faced all this, so calm that he was silent. Of course, when he saw the scene of his wife and child being erased, there would be some fluctuations. Everything else was the same as before in Tianxian. There were no more tears on his face, no more tears. Everything no longer existed. At this moment, Soul Eater, who was excited because he had obtained the battle tactics in Lin Rei's mind, did not notice the changes in Lin Rei at all. Martial God's tactics, this, however, at this moment, his last battle tactic had been found out. Lin Rei didn't know whether to feel unfortunate or not. Saint-level cultivation method. This kid really surprised me. He even has a saint-level cultivation method. As he spoke, he didn't care about anything else. Soul Eater directly extracted all of Linley's memories containing the War God strategy. Right now, in Linley's mind, aside from the true Primal Chaos Sutra, which had been hidden by the system, there was also the Devouring Heaven Art. Linley didn't know if Soul Eater would be able to find these two techniques again. Kid, since you're going to die in a while, why don't you give me your cultivation method instead of testing it? Hearing Soul Eater's insatiable voice, Lin Rei ignored it and allowed Soul Eater to search. Bit by bit, his memories in mysterious heavenly mainland were found. When he was in the nascent soul stage, the golden core stage, the fasting stage, the enlightening stage, and the foundation establishment stage. Everything was dug up. However, just as Soul Eater was going through his memories, Lin Rei suddenly saw something. It was in a cave, and he was in a water jar. His body was covered in blood-red flames. When he saw the blood-red flames, Lin Rei suddenly thought of what the little dragon had told him a long time ago. Illusory spirit blood fire, the strongest flame in the world. All evil and evil forces were useless in front of the illusory spirit blood fire. Suddenly, Lin Rei remembered that the death chi was also a part of the evil force demon. He was pleasantly surprised. At the thought of this, Lin Rei began to trigger the illusory spirit blood fire silently. However, because he was controlled by Soul Eater, Lin Rei paid a huge price to communicate with the illusory spirit blood fire. Bit by bit, his spiritual energy avoided the Soul Devourer's divine soul and arrived at the Pill Palace. At this moment, the illusory spirit blood fire that Linley was looking for was floating around his divine soul. Outside his body, there was a little bit of deathly aura corroding it. However, the moment the death chi got close to the illusory spirit blood fire, it evaporated. Seeing this, Lin Rei smiled. How dare you touch my Ling-ers and N-ers memories? Go to hell. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's soul strength rushed into the illusory spirit blood fire. With a boom, the illusory spirit blood fire exploded. Sparks flew in all directions and entered all the meridians in his body to resist Soul Eater. At this moment, Soul Eater, who was completely obsessed with Lin Rei's battle techniques and cultivation techniques, was still unaware of Lin Rei's strange phenomenon. As for Lin Rei, the moment the illusory spirit blood fire rushed into his meridians, his body recovered little by little. Slowly, his body began to move. Soul strength carried the illusory spirit blood fire through all the meridians and finally arrived at the memory. As for Soul Eater, because he wanted to find the location of Lin Rei's cultivation technique, he didn't care about anything else. This was because he knew that since Lin Rei had so many powerful battle techniques, his cultivation technique must be very powerful. Therefore, he didn't care about anything else. Arriving at the place where the memories were stored, Lin Rei saw that Soul Eater didn't pay attention to him and was still erasing his memories. Suddenly, Lin Rei was startled. The illusory spirit blood fire instantly filled his soul and he walked towards Soul Eater step by step. At this moment, Lin Rei was very calm. He was so calm that it was terrifying. Just a glance at him would be unforgettable. He was so calm that he didn't have any emotions. Soul Eater, do you know your crime? Arriving behind the Soul Devourer, Lin Li's calm voice rang out. At this moment, the Soul Devourer, who was still searching for a cultivation technique, was startled. He abruptly turned around, only to see Lin Li covered in blood and flames. Lin Li's face was calm, and his eyes were as calm as still water. How did you? Looking at Lin Rei in front of him, Soul Eater couldn't believe it. The people who came in before had never encountered such a situation. Moreover, he was very confident in his soul-searching technique. But now, something happened that he couldn't explain. Me? Do you want to ask me how I appeared? Looking at the panicked Soul Eater, Lin Rei said with disdain, it doesn't matter how I appeared. You don't need to know. You only need to know that you have committed a crime. You erased my memory. Do you know your crime? 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 Every word was filled with murderous intent as they fell into Soul Eater's heart. Huh? Looking at Lin Rei, Soul Eater frowned. Although he couldn't figure out how Lin Rei got out of his control, his words just now had challenged his dignity. It couldn't be allowed to continue. Humph. Soul Eater snorted coldly and instantly gave up looking for cultivation techniques. His body moved instantly. Although it was just a strand of divine soul, its power couldn't be underestimated. If Lin Rei didn't have the illusory spirit blood fire, he would have been finished here. However, it wasn't certain at this moment. Looking at Soul Eater who was rushing towards him with murderous intent, Lin Rei raised his hand and prepared to attack. But at this moment, he found that his mind was blank and he didn't have any cultivation techniques. Chapter 546. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. Lin Li saw Soul Devourer's fist coming towards him, but his body did not react at all. He could only watch as Soul Devourer's fist smashed into his chest. However, the scene of Lin Rei being smashed didn't happen as Soul Devourer had imagined. The moment Soul Devourer's fist smashed into Lin Rei's chest, the illusory spirit blood fire wrapped around Lin Rei seemed to have found a prey. It instantly peeled off Lin Rei's body and began to wrap around Soul Devourer's fist. It began to spread throughout Soul Devourer's body bit by bit. This, Soul Devourer watched as the blood-red flames began to spread around him. At the same time, he felt his divine soul begin to be consumed. Soul Devourer could no longer remain calm. He didn't expect such a mess to occur when he was already meat on a chopping board. Soul Devourer didn't dare to be careless with the sudden appearance of the flames. He immediately contacted his main body and asked him to cut off the divine soul. PFFF. Soul Devourer spat out a mouthful of blood without any warning. The rosy glow on his face instantly withered. At this moment, the divine soul that was cut off by Soul Devourer had lost the support of his main body. It was instantly refined by the illusory spirit blood fire and became a part of Lin Rei. Looking at this scene, Lin Rei sneered. His divine soul returned to his main body. Lin Rei instantly regained his freedom. At the same time, the illusory spirit blood fire appeared around him. Immediately, the surrounding death chi retreated as if it had met its natural enemy. It couldn't move or stay. Soul Devourer's eyes were filled with shock. He asked in disbelief, "You? What is this thing? Why didn't I see it in your memory?" Lin Rei, who came back to his senses, moved his body. He held the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand and looked at Soul Devourer with a murderous look. You don't need to know what this is because you will receive my punishment. This is the price you have to pay for erasing my and Ling Er's memories. Soul Devourer raised his eyebrows and sneered. Do you think I'm still the divine soul in your head? Let me tell you, I'm not afraid of you." After saying that, the two of them moved at the same time, using their fastest speed to rush towards each other. Although the two of them were not on the same level, their speed was still very fast. In the blink of an eye, the two sides met. Soul Eater raised his hand and the surrounding death energy instantly transformed into black swords of deathly stillness. Without any warning, the swords shot towards Lin Rei. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had no memory of any battle tactics, could only rely on his own self-reflection to fight. However, with the support of the illusory spirit Bloodfire, the moment the swords of deathly stillness formed by the soul-devouring soul approached Lin Rei, they were refined by the illusory spirit Bloodfire, turning into pure energy that merged with Lin Rei's body. Die. Although he was worried before, Lin Rei was completely relieved when he saw that the swords could not get close to him. Immediately, Lin Rei controlled the illusory spirit Bloodfire and wrapped it around the chaotic dragon spear. Together with the 9 azure dragons, the spear arrived in front of the Soul Devourer in an instant. The most ordinary spear pierced towards the Soul Devourer's head. At this moment, when the Soul Devourer saw the spear with the illusory spirit Bloodfire rushing towards him, he immediately wanted to dodge. However, there was no way for him to do so as his body could not move. "Bastard, are you really not afraid that I'll suppress your soul forever?" Two voices could be heard. So what if I die? It's enough for me to kill you." Speaking of this, Liao Yuning quickly tried to dissuade him. "Lin Rei, kill me quickly. As long as I die, he will die. Quick. You're crazy. You'll also die like this." Hearing Liao Yuning's words, the Soul Devourer quickly shouted in horror. However, Lin Rei did not pay attention to their words. Lin Rei hated the Soul Devourer to the extreme. He would definitely not be able to survive today. As for Liao Yuning, Lin Rei did not plan to kill her. "Shut up." Lin Rei did not want to listen to them and shouted. Then, the spear did not stop. In an instant, it was only a millimeter away from Liao Yuning. However, the Soul Devourer was shocked to see that the illusory spirit Bloodfire that was wrapped around the spear seemed to be alive. It turned into a very thin line of fire and instantly drilled into Liao Yuning's mind. Knowing that Lin Rei was on the way, the Soul Devourer was terrified. His tone was not as tough as before. "Lin Rei, I don't want your combat skills and cultivation skills. Similarly, I will also tell you the entrance to the second level. As long as you leave now." "Oh? Really?" Listening to the Soul Devourer's words, Lin Rei said coldly. Yes. Knowing that you'll leave, I can also let this woman go. As long as you leave, I can also return all your combat skills to you." At this moment, the Soul Devourer's divine soul in Liao Yuning's mind panicked when he saw the illusory spirit Bloodfire that had already rushed in. Regarding the illusory spirit Bloodfire, after what happened just now, he knew that this kind of flame was specially designed to restrain him. He was afraid of it. But it's too late now. You've already touched my bottom line. I've said that anyone who hurts my family and brothers will have to pay a painful price. Although you didn't, but Lin Rei had already placed the Soul Devourer on his death list. Therefore, Lin Rei did not listen to what he said just now. "You've hurt this lord's memories of Ling, En, so you must die. Only in this way can this lord's anger and Ling, En, be comforted in the underworld." At this point, the Soul Devourer already knew that there was no chance to redeem himself. His begging eyes instantly turned sharp. Looking at the illusory spirit Bloodfire that was close at hand, the Soul Devourer instantly turned around and fled. However, how could Lin Rei, who was already prepared, let him escape? The moment the Soul Devourer moved, the illusory spirit Bloodfire that had been waiting for a long time split into two. One stayed where it was while the other disappeared. When it reappeared, it was already in front of the Soul Devourer. The Soul Devourer panicked when he saw the illusory spirit Bloodfire that suddenly appeared in front of him. However, he did not just sit there and wait for his death. Then, he found a direction and rushed away. However, would Lin Rei let him escape? Without wasting any time, Yi Shiwen controlled the illusory spirit bloodfire to quickly chase after the soul devourer. It began to spread all over the soul devourer's body. The flames spread bit by bit, engulfing and refining the soul devourer bit by bit. The soul devourer let out a blood-curdling scream. You! Although it was in Liao Yuning's mind, she could still hear the soul devourer's voice. Looking at the soul devourer that was not destroyed by the illusory spirit bloodfire, Lin Rei did not pay attention to him. The screams continued for a long time. Finally, the screams disappeared. The moment the screams disappeared, Lin Rei's divine soul instantly entered Liao Yuning's mind. Looking at the soul devourer that had been destroyed by the illusory spirit bloodfire, there was nothing left of him. In this regard, Lin Rei breathed a sigh of relief. However, Lin Rei felt a little heartache for his lost memories and combat techniques. Especially the memories of his wife, Jean Ling and Jean En. These things were the most painful thing for Lin Rei. At this moment, Liao Yuning, who was possessed by the soul devourer, slowly recovered after being destroyed by the soul devourer. When she opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was a cold and emotionless Lin Li. It was as if he was a completely different person from the Lin Li that she had known before. Liao Yuning, who was about to say something, was stopped by those cold words before she could say anything. Well, since you have been saved, hurry up and go out. The experts on this floor are all dead. I believe you won't encounter any danger. With that, Lin Rei turned and walked towards the depths without any intention of stopping. Seeing Lin Li walk forward, Liao Yuning hurriedly followed him. Smiling, she said, "No, I'm already here. I can't go back. I want to go down and take a look. I want to see what's here. Your life and death has nothing to do with me. Even if I meet you in danger, I will not save you. Including this time, I have already saved you twice. Even if I hurt you before, I have already saved you twice. Even if I hurt my little brother before, I have already saved you twice. I do not wish for us to meet again in the future. Goodbye." With that, Lin Rei didn't look back. He released his cultivation and flew away quickly. Although he didn't have any footwork, he still had his cultivation. And Liao Yuning, after hearing Lin Rei's words, stood there stupidly with tears in her eyes. She looked like she was about to cry. "Bastard, you dare to treat me like this. I need you to save me again." With that, Liao Yuning didn't leave. Instead, she chased in the direction Lin Rei left. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't know that Liao Yuning was still following him. He had a headache because all his combat techniques had disappeared and he had no ability to fight. As he flew, he thought about how to deal with this matter. If there was any danger, what should he do? This was what he wanted to know now. After flying for a long time, just when he couldn't figure it out, he saw a stone tablet appear. Looking at the stone tablet, Lin Rei increased his flying speed and arrived in front of it in an instant. He stopped in front of the stone tablet and saw the words, Level 2 Enlightenment, written on it. Looking at the stone tablet, Lin Rei knew that as long as he took this step, it meant that he'd reached Level 2 Enlightenment. However, he wasn't in a hurry. Instead, he communicated with the system telepathically and released his wife, Lu Ying, his brothers, and the others. The moment Lu Ying appeared, he saw Lin Rei and immediately pounced on him. He hugged Lin Rei and started to greet him. Seeing how nervous Lu Ying was, Lin Rei said plainly, it's fine. Although he still spoke the same way as before, Lu Ying could feel that her husband's tone had turned cold. It had become emotionless. She didn't understand this but didn't think too deeply about it. As long as this was her husband, she didn't care about anything else. Looking at everyone, Lin Rei nodded, then went to Lin Wanyu's side and asked, Xiao Yu, give me a copy of the combat techniques that Master taught you before. Chapter 547. Although Lin Rei's guess wasn't too big, everyone present was a godly realm cultivator. They could hear even the softest voice clearly. When they heard what Lin Rei said to Lin Wanyu, everyone was dumbfounded. Even Lin Wanyu was stunned. She was a little confused. Logically speaking, he was the one who gave her these combat techniques, so what was the situation now? What's wrong? Lin Wanyu asked when she saw her eldest disciple in a daze and the stunned gazes of the people around her. Master, these combat techniques were all given to me by you. Don't you have them? Hearing Lin Wanyu's words, everyone looked at Lin Rei curiously, wanting to seek an answer. Lin Rei knew he couldn't hide this matter from Lin Wanyu and the gazes of the people around him, and he didn't intend to. Sigh. With a sigh, Lin Rei slowly recounted everything that happened. My memories have been erased and all my combat techniques have been taken away. You can say that I'm now a divine guard cultivator who only has cultivation but no combat ability. What? As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. Some even cried out in surprise, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Because in their minds, Lin Li had always been an unparalleled influence. But now, Brother Lei, are you all right? At that moment, Lu Ying, who was the first to regain her senses, hurried to Lin Wanyu's side with concern. She finally understood why her husband felt like a stranger when she first saw him. Emichim, I'm fine. It's just that some important memories have been erased. Luckily, some of them are still there and haven't been completely erased. However, the combat techniques, at this point, Lin Rei didn't continue. Although he didn't remember the name of the combat techniques, he was very clear about what happened afterward. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Lin Wanyu didn't stay any longer. She immediately took out some jade slips and began to record everything that Lin Rei taught her. Not only Lin Wanyu, but even Lin Tian's younger brother beside Lu Ying did the same. Looking at how busy these people were, Lin Rei's eyes flickered for a moment, but soon returned to normal. Time passed by bit by bit. Everyone lined up one by one to test their engraved cultivation methods, battle techniques, and other things. They were all engraved and placed in front of Lin Rei for him to admire. Stellar Finger, Silent Thunder Spear Art, Azura Spear Art, Azura Sword Formation, Sky Raising Palm, and a series of cultivation techniques and battle techniques all appeared in Lin Rei's mind. Although he was a little unfamiliar with them, he quickly got used to them after seeing those moves. The surrounding crowd watched as Lin Rei slowly practiced the combat techniques that he had cultivated in the past. Although he was a little unfamiliar with it, they had seen it before. Although their memories had been obliterated, their physical memories were still there. Moreover, when they saw Lin Rei's cultivation, some of the concepts were also a lot of help to them. Rather than saying that Lin Rei was cultivating, it was better to say that Lin Rei was teaching them. At this moment, the scene was very similar. Lin Rei was dancing, and slowly, the crowd also began. Everyone picked up their weapons and began to slowly comprehend some concepts in the moves that Lin Rei practiced. Some things that they had never experienced before but were unfathomable. Time passed by bit. No one knew how much time had passed. They couldn't see the sky outside at all, but this was common for cultivators. The important thing was that Lin Rei, who was repracticing the battle techniques, finally stopped waving the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand. He stared at the surrounding pedestrians and sat cross-legged in cultivation. Lin Rei didn't have the chance. Instead, he sat silently at the side and recalled the few remaining memories of Jin Ling and Jin En in his mind. When he recalled, Lin Rei was glad that the reason for his wife's death and the way to save them hadn't been erased. Lin Rei was very puzzled about this. It was reasonable to say that this kind of memory should also be erased. In the end, Lin Rei still couldn't figure it out. However, what he didn't know was that the memories that he was puzzled about that hadn't been erased were all preserved by the system for him. It was for no other reason than to give him a goal to continue fighting for and to give him the motivation to fight. After a long time, the people who were cultivating with their eyes closed began to wake up. Everyone woke up with a smile on their faces. It wasn't for anything else, but because they had broken through this time. Looking at everyone, Lin Ray nodded and said, "Okay, you're all awake. I don't plan to let you in. If you want to break through, you have to experience life and death. If I blindly protect you, it will only delay you in the end." "Really? Can we really go with you?" At this moment, everyone who heard Lin Ray's words were excited. They were all excited. This was a rare opportunity. In the past, Linley definitely wouldn't have done something like this. "Yes, let's go. This is the Death Canyon. I've already passed the first level. Although it's a little dangerous, it's okay. Let's go together." After saying that, Lin Ray raised his hand and pointed to the path behind them. "This is the second level. It's the enlightenment state. I don't know about the dangers inside, but everyone should be careful." After saying that, he didn't wait for anyone to react. Then, wind appeared under his feet and he instantly rushed into the second level. Seeing Linley disappear, all the pupae charged into the second level of the realm of enlightenment. Everyone had excited smiles on their faces, as though they were curious children who had received a reward. Whoosh! A sound of something breaking through the air was heard. Not long after Lin Ray left, a figure arrived at the entrance of the second level. The second level? The person who came was none other than Liao Yuning, who had been following closely behind. When she saw the stone tablet, she was stunned. "What's going on? Didn't you say it was the Death Canyon? Why are there different levels now?" Although she didn't understand, since she was already here, she had no choice but to go on this trip, no matter what difficulties lay ahead. Thinking about this, Liao Yuning stretched out her hand and sent out a seal. A strange bat seal appeared on the stone tablet beside her. Then, her body flashed and disappeared into the entrance of the second level. At this moment, time passed quickly. It had been 300 years since Lin Ray entered the Death Canyon. During these 300 years, the Death Canyon wasn't very peaceful. Not long after Lin Ray entered the second level, the death aura in the Death Canyon began to enter the God Realm. Because of this, the God Realm paid more attention to the Death Canyon. Although people were sent here before, they didn't enter the Death Canyon. They only guarded the entrance of the Death Canyon to prevent the death aura from rushing out. More than 200 years later, the Death Canyon began to shake. Rays of red light rushed out and thunder rumbled in the sky. Because of this, everyone couldn't remain silent. Various large sects, empires, and families of the God Realm all flocked here. All of them were elite disciples. They wanted to find out what was happening in the Death Canyon. But to their disappointment, after entering the Death Canyon, they arrived at the entrance of the 4th and 5th levels without any obstruction. They didn't continue forward. Among them, there was no lack of people who recorded everything that happened here. Of course, if Linley was here, he would definitely recognize many of them. He knew many of them. For example, Divine Sects Gu Si, Lu Yunhan, Pang Long, Pang Guang, Devil Sects Falling Star Pavilions Liao Jun, and some others that he met once in the Heaven's Wall City. Every one of them had a disappointed expression. In their minds, they were frightened by the 2 words Forbidden Area. They always thought that this place was very dangerous. But when they arrived, they realized that although there were dangers, there were also great rewards. For example, the second level of the Enlightenment Realm. They comprehended realms in there and tasted all kinds of things in the human world. It was a great reward. In the 3rd level of the Slaughter Canyon, although some people died, they couldn't withstand the corrosion of the Slaughter Canyon. In the end, they went crazy and turned into killing machines. As for the 4th level of the Azura Canyon, they didn't encounter any dangers like the 2nd and 3rd levels. Their journey in the 4th level was very normal. Although everyone looked very nervous, they didn't encounter any danger. They safely arrived at the entrance of the 4th and 5th levels. At this moment, a young man came before the stone tablet with the words 5th level of the Lightning Dominion written on it. He stretched out his hand and touched the stone tablet. Suddenly, a familiar feeling arose in his heart. Suddenly, the young man seemed to have thought of something. When no one was paying attention, he put his hands into his clothes and started to form seals. As his speed increased, the young man could only turn around so that no one would notice him. After a while, the seals were formed and a hand pressed on the stone tablet. Puff, puff, puff. Suddenly, a soft sound rang out. In order to not attract attention, the young man hurriedly turned around and looked around with a bored expression. When the popping sounds had died down and no one was paying attention to him, the young man turned around and saw the conspicuous bat symbol on the stone tablet. When he saw the symbol, the young man became excited and his eyes were filled with worry. Sister, why did sister come here? The young man was none other than Liao Jun, Liao Yuning's younger brother. This time, not only the righteous path came to the Death Canyon, but even the demon path came. The Falling Star Pavilion was not an exception. This symbol was the symbol of him and his sister, Liao Yuning. Other than them, no one else knew about it. Therefore, when he touched the stone tablet, he felt a familiar feeling from the opposite sex. However, what made him puzzled was why his sister came here. When she left, she clearly said that she was going to chase after. Could it be? Thinking of that, Liao Jun became excited. If it was really as he thought, it meant that Lin Rei would also be here. Thinking of this, he became excited. At this moment, an old man who had been standing beside him felt the fluctuation of Liao Jun's emotions and transmitted a message to him. What's wrong, Jun? Chapter 548. Hearing the voice transmission, Liao Jun subconsciously glanced at the old man next to him. Sui Li responded indifferently, Elder Xiong, I found Big Sister's mark here. Do you think Big Sister has already been here? What? The old man was startled upon hearing Liao Jun's words. His face was filled with astonishment. Afraid of being discovered, the old man could only put away his astonishment and forced himself to calm down. If what Liao Jun said was true, then Liao Yuning might have been here before. Just in case, the old man asked Liao Jun to confirm it again. Little Jun, are you sure you're not mistaken? Why don't you check again? What if you're wrong? There hasn't been any news of your big sister for hundreds of years. If she's really here, then this news is very important. If necessary, we have to inform the sect leader about this. Upon hearing Elder Xiong's words, knowing the seriousness of this matter, Liao Jun once again probed the mark that connected him and Liao Yuning. After a long while, Liao Jun stopped probing, turned to Elder Xiong, and said solemnly, Elder Xiong, this is indeed the mark that connected me and Big Sister. Besides, it also contains our Falling Star Pavilion's cultivation technique, Bright Moon Heavenly Art. The old man nodded. The old man hurriedly went to investigate. After a long time, the old man finally confirmed the accuracy of this matter. Yes, it's indeed our Falling Star Pavilion's Bright Moon Heavenly Art. The old man pondered solemnly. Looking at the old man, Liao Jun didn't go up the mountain to disturb him. Instead, he stood by the side and waited quietly. At the same time, he observed all the movements of the major sects, families, and empires. Once he found something amiss, he would immediately inform the old man. Little Jun, we still have to inform the sect leader about this matter. You don't have any objections, right? Upon hearing the old man's words, although it sounded like the old man was asking him, in fact, he had already made up his mind. Yes, Elder Xiong. You can decide on this matter. I don't mind. Anyway, I've already found Big Sister's mark. Even if I don't want to enter the 5th floor, I have to. Liao Jun said and looked meaningfully at the entrance of the 5th floor. They didn't intend to enter for the time being. But now, hearing Liao Jun's words, the old man's expression turned solemn. Why don't we? All right, no one needs to settle this matter. Even if the sect master were to come, it would still be the same. My sister's life and death are still unknown. In the past millions of years, in order to find her, how many places have I traveled to? No matter who comes, it's useless. Liao Jun didn't listen to the old man's words at all. Not to mention that his sister Liao Yuning was here. Even if she wasn't, Lin Rei alone was enough. Seeing that his young master was so insistent, the old man at the side had no other choice. All right, then I will inform the sect master about this matter first. As for the rest, I will have to ask the sect master about it. You see, all right, do as you see fit. He had already thought of this answer. Thus, he did not plan to allow the old man and his brothers from the Falling Star Pavilion to enter with him. Go and inform father. I will wait for you here. Okay, wait for me here. I'll be back soon. Before leaving, the old man told Liao Jun and left. As the old man left, Liao Jun chuckled. Without anyone noticing, he instantly slipped into the 5th level of the Thunder Dominion. Oh no, someone has entered the Thunder Dominion. However, the moment Liao Jun sneaked into the Thunder Dominion, a middle-aged cultivator who was strolling at the side happened to see all of Liao Jun's actions. The moment Liao Jun entered the 5th level, the middle-aged man roared into the sky. Immediately, everyone, whether they were busy, not busy, or chatting with others, turned their heads to look at the entrance of the 5th level at this moment. As for those who were busy discovering that someone had entered the 5th level, they were already at the entrance of the 5th level at this moment. Their faces were very excited. Come back quickly. At this moment, an old man in the crowd had an ugly expression on his face. The middle-aged man waved his hand and said. As he spoke, he did not forget to give an embarrassed smile to the person next to him. No, I want to say it. It's true. The middle-aged man saw that old man walking towards him. Suddenly, the middle-aged man roared excitedly. Then, he turned around and rushed into the 5th level of the Thunder Dominion. What? Seeing this scene, the old man was so shocked that he stood rooted to the ground. His eyes were filled with disbelief. However, at this moment, when everyone saw that middle-aged man enter, they were no longer calm. They did not know whether or not the middle-aged man had entered before, but at this moment, they saw with their own eyes that someone had entered. In an instant, no matter if it was a big sect or a small sect, at this moment, they no longer waited and hesitated. Whoosh whoosh, in the next moment, people began to slowly enter the 5th level. At first, it was only the small sections. Later, some of the more cautious big sects began to become restless. Let's go, they have all gone in. It would be unreasonable if we don't go in, right? At this moment, in the Divine Sect camp, Elder Pang Long hurriedly turned around and said to everyone as he entered one sect after another. Elder, why don't we take a look again? Although we haven't encountered any danger before, it doesn't mean that there won't be any danger in the future. I have a feeling that the next step will be very difficult. Why don't we take a look again? After his memories were erased by the Soul Devourer, he had recultivated his combat techniques. He had recultivated his array, alchemy, and weapon refining. As he was no longer bound by emotions, Lin Rei had become indifferent. For hundreds of years, he had only cultivated and had never stopped. His efforts over the past few hundred years had not been in vain. His cultivation had been rewarded, and his alchemy and other cultivation had also been rewarded. The boy who originally had the mind fruit sealed by Xiaolong had already become a supremacy alchemist, artificer, and array formation master after hundreds of years of cultivation. Any array formation could kill a divine monarch. Although it was still a little difficult to kill a divine emperor, it was still possible for him to survive the attack of a divine emperor. At this moment, they had already been here for almost 100 years. From the moment they arrived, Linley had given them a body-tempering technique, the Thunder Scripture. Did he exchange this book from the system? Was it for the sake of breaking through the realm of their physical bodies? As for Lin Rei, he had used an even more advanced technique, the Primal Chaos Body Refining Technique. Lin Rei, who originally had a peak immortal realm body, had instantly broken through to the early divine realm after being baptized by the lightning. However, after breaking through to the divine realm, the speed of the physical body's advancement had become slower and slower. After almost 100 years, Lin Rei's physical body was still at the peak of the early divine realm. However, on this day, Lin Rei had entered the lightning as usual. As he was bathing in the lightning, a familiar feeling welled up in his heart. He was very familiar with this feeling. This was the feeling of having a breakthrough in the physical body. When he felt this, Lin Rei was no longer calm. A ripple appeared in his calm eyes. However, that ripple quickly disappeared. Gotcha, the lightning seemed to have heard Lin Rei's provocation. In an instant, a ball of purple lightning gathered above Lin Rei's head and slowly condensed into a purple ball of light. He. Sensing the pressure emanating from the ball of light, Lin Lei's unchanging face finally revealed a hint of a smile. But at the same time, the smile quickly disappeared. Lin Rei looked at the purple ball of light with both hands. Cold sweat trickled down his cheeks. Despite this, Lin Rei didn't feel any fear or dread. Chapter 549. Gotcha. Rumble. Lin Rei's heart was filled with excitement as he felt the energy coming from the ball of light. But at the same time, he was also cautious. After all, this was not a joke. He closed his eyes and activated the Chaos Refinement Art, waiting for the lightning to strike at any time. Gotcha! After a loud sound, a lightning bolt rushed out of the purple ball of light like a lightning snake. It rushed towards Lin Rei in the air with a thunderous aura. Right now, Lin Lei's eyes were closed. Although he couldn't see, his heart was much brighter. When he sensed a bolt of lightning shoot out of the violet sphere towards him, Lin Lei, with his eyes closed, began to move. Without raising his head, he stretched out his hand. Immediately, a terrifying devouring power rushed out of the devouring heaven spell and enveloped the lightning bolt. Then, a miracle happened. The lightning bolt, which was originally very ferocious, calmed down the moment it was enveloped by Lin Rei's devouring heaven spell. Then, it was sent into Lin Rei's body bit by bit. It began to refine his body. Zzz sound kept appearing in Lin Rei's mind. He did not make any response. He thought he was activating the Chaos Refinement Art. At the same time, he activated the devouring heaven spell and devoured the power of lightning. He used the Chaos Refinement Art to refine his body. As time passed, the first lightning bolt was completely absorbed by Lin Rei. Phew. That's still not enough. It seems like I need more. Otherwise, I won't be able to break through my body. I really don't want to leave like this. Fortunately, he still wasn't able to break through. Instantly, Lin Lei's head began to hurt. Actually, 20 years after he had entered, he could have entered the 6th floor. But he didn't want to give up on such a good place to train his body, because he knew that if he missed this opportunity, who knew when the next one would be? Therefore, he was not in a hurry to leave. He wanted to break through. However, almost 100 years had passed and he still had not broken through. Gotcha. The purple ball of light seemed to have sensed Lin Rei's request. More than 10 lightning bolts rushed out and arrived above Lin Rei's head in an instant. Just as they were about to bombard Lin Rei's head, Lin Rei reacted. Swallow it. Instantly, he raised his hand, and the devouring heavens art once more began to circulate, instantly enveloping those 10 bolts of lightning. But in the next instant, to Lin Lei's surprise, as soon as the energy of the devouring heavens art enveloped those 10 bolts of lightning, those 10 bolts of lightning miraculously began to merge together. What gave Lin Rei an even bigger headache was that the combined power of a dozen lightning bolts was something that even Lin Rei couldn't bear. Gotcha. A shattering sound suddenly appeared. The huge lightning bolt instantly pierced through the energy of Lin Rei's devouring heavenly mantra and directly bombarded Lin Rei's body. With a loud bang, the lightning and Lin Rei came into close contact. However, this was very uncomfortable for Lin Rei. The moment the lightning struck Lin Rei's body was instantly struck to the ground by the lightning. Bam! Bam, bam, just as Lin Rei, who had been struck to the ground by the lightning, was feeling some relief from the pain in his body, suddenly, another bolt of lightning came crashing down, instantly landing on Linley's body. PFFF. Lin Rei, who had suffered a heavy blow, felt his internal organs tumble. His throat rolled for a while and he could no longer hold it in. A mouthful of blood spurted out. That's quite painful. As the pain in his body subsided, Linley listened for a while before slowly crawling up from the bed with difficulty. He then immediately sat down cross-legged and began to circulate his cultivation technique, beginning to absorb the remaining lightning energy in his body. Phew. After feeling a little better, the remaining lightning energy was absorbed by his cultivation technique and slowly healed the wounds on his body. What should I do? Should I go up and help? At this moment, Lu Ying, who was standing very far away from Lin Rei, wanted to rush over when she saw that her husband was injured by the lightning. But in the end, she overcame the impulse in her heart because she knew that it wasn't realistic. Don't worry, Lei Ji is fine. Besides, I think he's going to break through soon. At this moment, the young man beside her saw Lu Ying's worry and hurriedly went up to comfort her. That's right, a young lady, don't worry. You have to believe in young master. Nothing can stump young master. Hearing their words, Lu Ying's heart relaxed a lot, but the worry in her heart didn't disappear. At this moment, Lin Rei was a little agitated because he felt that his physical body was about to reach its limit. Come on, let the storm come even more fiercely. As he spoke, a bottle of pills suddenly appeared in his hand and he swallowed them all in one gulp. The pills melted in his mouth and Lin Rei's wounds from the lightning attack on his back started to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. Feeling his wounds slowly heal, Lin Rei relaxed. He stood up and the Chaos Dragon Spear appeared in his hand. Once again, he went up to the sky to receive the baptism of lightning. Kacha, boom, at this moment, aside from Lin Rei and Liao Yuning, Liao Jun, who was the first to enter, had already arrived at the 5th floor. However, the moment he entered the entrance, he was stunned. Although it said lightning region outside, who would have thought that there wasn't a single piece of land here that wasn't filled with lightning and thunder? However, in order to find his sister, Liao Yuning, and Lin Rei, he persevered. After all, he didn't cultivate his physical body, so lightning was very harmful to him. PFFF. At this moment, Liao Jun originally thought that there was nothing ahead, so he wanted to rush forward quickly. However, who would have thought that the moment he took a step forward, a bolt of lightning struck down from the sky and accurately landed on Liao Jun's back? Liao Jun, who wasn't prepared at all, was struck by the sudden bolt of lightning. His face turned as white as paper and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body couldn't take it anymore and he knelt on the ground with both hands supporting him. His vision was a blur. A heart-wrenching pain instantly spread throughout Liao Jun's body. There wasn't a single spot that wasn't in pain. Liao Jun, who was kneeling on the ground, couldn't help but curse as he felt the pain all over his body. Kacha, another bolt of lightning sounded. Liao Jun, who was lying on the ground, looked up at the sky with difficulty when he heard the sound. A purple bolt of lightning was descending towards him. Feeling the terror coming from the lightning, despair crept onto his face. He smiled bitterly in his heart. I didn't expect this. I was still boasting shamelessly that I wanted to find my sister. I didn't expect to die here today. Despair, unwillingness, and the desire to fight back. Liao Jun wanted to, but after being struck by the lightning just now, he no longer had any strength to fight back. Just like this, Liao Jun closed his eyes and waited for his death to come. However, time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 minutes had passed. His body didn't feel anything other than the pain from before. Liao Jun opened his eyes curiously. What entered his eyes was the figure he had been looking forward to for hundreds of years. At this moment, Liao Jun's mental defenses collapsed instantly. Tears flowed uncontrollably from his eyes. Why are you here? Just as Liao Jun was crying, a woman's voice sounded. Her voice was cold and at the same time, she asked curiously. From the beginning to the end, the woman didn't turn back to look at Liao Jun. Woo-woo. I followed Elder Xiong and the others here, but I saw the mark you left on the stone tablet. I couldn't wait for Elder Xiong to agree, so I sneaked in, but who would have thought that the 5th floor would be so terrifying? In the end, it became like this, right? The woman continued Liao Jun's words. The person in front of Liao Jun was none other than Liao Yuning, who had been following Lin Rui. Originally, she was just walking around, but who would have thought that she would come to take a look when she heard the screams? When she arrived, she saw her brother whom she had been separated from for many years. Liao Yuning was also very surprised to see him. However, when she saw the lightning that was about to fall on him, Liao Yuning didn't even think and directly sent out a mysterious print. The next moment, the lightning instantly collapsed, turning into energy and dissipating in the air. Sister, Hearing his sister's voice, Liao Jun lowered his head, looking as if he was asking her to punish him. All right, stand up. There are no cowards in our Liao family. Just stand up and it will be over. The cold voice sounded again. Liao Jun was a little confused. In the past, his sister would definitely cry and heal him when she saw him like this, but now, he couldn't figure it out, but he didn't resist his sister's order. He endured the pain on his body and slowly climbed up from the ground with difficulty. However, due to the pain from the wound on his back, Liao Jun couldn't straighten his back at all. He could only bend over. At this moment, Liao Yuning, who was in front, felt her brother stand up. She didn't say anything and directly walked forward. Behind her, Liao Jun saw his sister leaving and hurriedly followed. Although his speed was a little slow, Liao Yuning's pace was still very strong. Along the way, Liao Jun didn't dare to speak. He felt that his sister must have experienced something in the past few hundred years. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to be like this. He wanted to go forward and ask, but he didn't have the courage. After being separated from his sister for so long, he didn't know if his sister had changed. Along the way, Liao Yuning led Liao Jun into the depths. After an unknown amount of time, the wound on Liao Jun's back was all healed and they were still walking. Since you're here, take advantage of the opportunities here. Here, as long as you're willing to work hard, you can have the strength you want. This sudden sentence made Liao Jun excited. This was the first time Liao Yuning took the initiative to talk to him in a while. Chapter 550. Well, I know. With that, Liao Jun hurriedly stepped forward and walked side by side with Liao Yuning. However, when he came to Liao Yuning's side, he found that Liao Yuning's veil was gone. Liao Jun, who already knew her face, was not surprised to see her face again, but when he saw her extremely cold face, Liao Jun felt cold. Although Liao Yuning used to be cold, she was different to him. At this moment, the old sister's cold face. Liao Jun's heart ached. Sister, you, as if she knew what he was going to ask, Liao Yuning's cold face did not change. She said in a cold tone, don't be surprised, it's not like before. It's good enough to survive here. Liao Yuning turned around and looked at Liao Jun without a trace of worry in her eyes. It could even be said that she was very cold, without any familial feelings. I have no problem with you coming here. I thought you would live a peaceful life outside with your father and the sect, but since you're here, you should improve your cultivation. Here, no one can really help you, even I, who you think is the closest to you, can't, because I won't. Hearing his sister's words, Liao Jun was stunned and silent, but Liao Yuning did not stop. Here, you can't rely on anyone, you can only rely on yourself. I won't help you. Life and death are ruled by fate. If you want to live, you have to work many times harder than others. This is the only thing I've learned here. After that, Liao Yuning stepped forward again and walked into the depths. Along the way, the roar of thunder resounded in their minds, but at this moment, Liao Jun didn't seem to hear it. He looked at his sister walking in front of him and couldn't figure out how in just a few hundred years, a person who used to spoil him very much could become so cold and ruthless. Liao Jun, who couldn't figure it out, quickly stepped forward and grabbed Liao Yuning. His eyes were filled with tears, and he asked in a trembling voice, "Sister. What's wrong with you?" I'm little June, I'm your brother, why are you?" However, when he said the last sentence, Liao Jun couldn't go on anymore. Because when he said the last sentence, Liao Yuning's cold eyes were fixed on him, and she instantly released her powerful cultivation to envelop him. So what? This is not the outside world. This is all I can tell you. If you want to survive here, this is the only way, but... Speaking of this, Liao Yuning paused, looked at Liao Jun with cold and disdainful eyes, and said again, "But if you don't want to do this, you can go back now. While you are not far from the entrance, I can send you out. Of course, the choice is yours." Liao Jun began to make a decision in his heart as he listened to the two choices placed before him. He began to hesitate. The first was to turn his older sister into a cold and heartless person. Although her cultivation had increased, this was something that he, as a man, could accept. However, the second was to ask him to give up and go out to live a peaceful life. This was something that he was extremely repulsed by. The two of them stood where they were. The stalemate lasted for a long time. Liao Yuning looked on coldly, waiting for his answer. About half an hour later, Liao Jun's firm voice rang out, "I choose the first one. I want to be with you. I don't want to be separated from you. Even if it's dangerous, even if I die, I will follow you, follow my sister." "Okay." Hearing her brother's choice, Liao Yuning nodded indifferently and said, "Since you've made your choice, let's go. I'll take you to see Lin Rui, who you've always wanted to see, and see his cultivation. Then we'll talk." With that, Liao Yuning walked forward. Hearing her words, Liao Jun was shocked and happy. He immediately followed Liao Yuning, who was walking quickly ahead. At this moment, behind the Liao siblings, hundreds of people were coming in their direction. They were the disciples of the major sects, the small sects, the disciples of the aristocratic families, and the descendants of the emperors of their own empires. When they entered the fifth layer of the Lightning Dominion, the situation was very rich. There was disbelief, fear, and panic, but there were also many people who came in with a happy attitude. Among them, there was no lack of cultivators who cultivated their physical bodies. There were also some powerful cultivators. They had always thought that there must be treasures in the Death Canyon, but they hadn't seen them before. Aside from the Enlightenment realm that could increase their cultivation, there was only killing. Now that they saw such a large Lightning Dominion, they faintly felt that there were treasures they were looking for. "Let's go and see what's here. It can even create such a large Lightning Dominion here." At this moment, in the Divine Sect camp, Lu Yunhan said to Gu Si with a curious and cautious tone, "Yeah, it's really incredible. If we don't look for the route we took before, this should be underground. To have such a large Lightning Dominion here, I really want to see what's here." They weren't the only ones who had this thought. Everyone who came here had the same thought. They all wanted to know what kind of power could create such a large Lightning Dominion here. Looking at the potholes and charred appearance, they couldn't imagine what kind of power could cause such a large Lightning Dominion to condense and not disperse for such a long time. Gotcha. However, just at this moment, when everyone was moving forward, there was no sign. A lightning bolt appeared. It landed directly on the body of a God King cultivator. Only after a miserable shriek did everyone snap out of their daze. However, it was already too late. Although the person who was struck by the lightning let out a scream, he was soon devoured by the lightning bolt. In the end, there wasn't even a trace of him left, even though he had a defensive artifact on him. The appearance of this scene caused everyone to fiercely suck in a breath of cold air. Of course, in their hearts, this matter was nothing more than a reminder for them to be careful everywhere in this place. Moreover, the bombardment of lightning here was extremely powerful. However, the sect of the person who died didn't think so. Those who were able to come here were all elite disciples. Although the person who died was only a divine king, he was still in existence like a deacon or a protector in a small sect. How could they not feel heartache? Seeing this scene, all the small sects began to reconsider their own strength. They were considering if they should retreat now. Apart from those peak and first grade sects, all the second and third grade sects stopped moving forward. They didn't want to participate in this meaningless competition. They couldn't afford to play. The ones who stopped were the leaders of their sections. Behind the old man were the elites that their sects had painstakingly nurtured. They didn't want them to die here. They knew that if all these elites died, their sects would be replaced by other sections. They didn't want that. As time passed, their thoughts became more and more resolute. Then, everyone ordered, "All disciples, we've already come this far. You've also increased your strength. As for the rest of the journey, it's not something we can do. Let's go." Everyone knew that with their own strength, they wouldn't be able to continue. So when they heard this order, they all rejoiced inside. Who would want to lose the cultivation they had painstakingly cultivated to die here for no reason? They couldn't do that. Just like that, all the small sects that had stayed behind left at this moment. Originally, there were still hundreds of people in the group, but now, more than half of them were gone. At this moment, apart from the Empire, their own top sects, and first-rate sects, everyone else had left. Heh. Looks like they know their own limits. They know they can't continue, so they're leaving ahead of time. At this moment, Pang Guang's face was filled with disdain when he saw the small sects leave. He rejoiced in their misfortune. Gu Si, who was standing at the top, couldn't bear to listen to his words. But he didn't say anything. However, he was very unhappy with Pang Guang's words. "Alright, ignore him. He's always been like that. It's not like you don't know." Lu Yunhan, who was watching from the side, obviously knew what Gu Si was thinking. She was afraid that he would be impulsive, so she quickly said, "Of course." She said this through voice transmission. Otherwise, with Pang Guang's temper, he would have already started arguing. Moreover, the leader this time was Pang Guang's grandfather, Pang Long. If he heard this, it would be even worse. Pang Long's narrow-mindedness was well known in the entire divine sect. She didn't want to offend him. "Alright, I know. Don't worry." Hearing Lu Yunhan's words, Gu Si nodded. Then, he didn't take the opportunity to leave. Instead, he carefully looked around. He didn't want the same thing to happen to the person who died earlier because of his carelessness. Because there was a leader from the sect, they walked very easily. This was the difference between the top sects, first-rank sects, and second-rank sections. In the depths of the lightning territory, Lin Rei, who was standing in the air, was still bathing in lightning. However, Lin Rei didn't rely on any weapons to defend himself. He was only watching his physical body resist the lightning. Kacha, following the sound of lightning, a bolt of lightning instantly shot out of the purple ball of light. It was aimed at Lin Rei, who was standing in the air. Bang! The bolt of lightning accurately landed on Lin Rei's body. In response, Lin Rei's body only trembled slightly. He let out a groan and then returned to normal. As for the part of his body that was struck by the lightning, although his skin and flesh were blown apart, the instant the lightning disappeared, the part of his body that was blown apart by the lightning returned to normal. In an instant, he returned to normal and was unharmed. Even God Emperors didn't have this sort of recovery ability. Only Lin Li and his body refining technique could do this. Otherwise, if it were anyone else. If it was someone else, they would have bled from all 7 orifices and their organs would have been churning. Chapter 551. Ah, it seems like I'm not far from breaking through. Lin Rei couldn't help but rejoice when he felt the speed of his recovery. Although he was in a sorry state because of the lightning, after this period of tempering, that level of lightning was no longer a threat to him. Whoosh, boom. A casual punch could be heard. In comparison, Lin Rei was very satisfied with his current physical body. However, when he thought about how he hadn't broken through to the mid-stage, Lin Rei couldn't help but feel anxious. "Come on, let me break through to the mid-stage." Lin Rei shouted towards the purple ball of light above his head. Instantly, his body moved and flew towards the purple ball of light. Immediately, the people on the ground saw Lin Li's actions and all of them lined up. They had seen such a scene once before, and that was when they were in the immortal world. Lin Yun had done this before, but they had to admit that Lin Li was really a father and son pair. Although they knew that he was very strong, everyone couldn't help but be very worried. Needless to say, Lu Ying was even more worried. Ever since Lin Rei went in to cultivate, she had been worried all the time, let alone now. Sigh, I hope nothing bad happens. At this moment, Lu Ying knew that she couldn't help at all. In the end, she could only silently pray for her husband's safe return. Whoosh! The sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. Lin Rei instantly rushed into the purple ball of light. The moment Lin Rei entered the purple ball of light, a blood-curdling scream rang out and resounded for hundreds of miles. Lin Rei's blood-curdling screams could be heard everywhere. At this moment, there was lightning everywhere in the purple ball of light. The lightning here was dozens of times stronger than normal lightning outside. In here, Lin Rei truly experienced the transformation of his body. However, at the same time, the heart-wrenching pain surged into his mind. For a moment, Lin Rei had the urge to sleep. However, he knew that if he slept like this, he might never wake up again. Thus, he resisted the urge to sleep because of the pain. In this situation, the Chaos Body Refinement Art, the Devouring Heaven Art, and the Chaos Heavenly Scripture were all channeled at the same time. This wasn't something that ordinary people could endure. For an ordinary person, using one cultivation technique was already the limit. If they were to use two cultivation techniques at the same time, they would simply be courting death. However, it was different for Lin Li. Because of the Primal Chaos Heavenly Scripture, when he used the other two cultivation techniques, the Primal Chaos Heavenly Scripture reduced the damage that the other cultivation technique would cause to Jean Lei to the minimum. Similarly, because of the recovery ability of his physical body, when he used three cultivation techniques at the same time, it didn't cause any harm to Lin Li at all. Instead, it caused Lin Li's physical body to recover even faster. At the same time, the energy contained in the lightning was partially absorbed by the three cultivation techniques. The portion absorbed by the Chaos Body Refinement Art was directly refined by Lin Rei's body. As for the Devouring Heaven Art, after absorbing the energy, it split the energy between the other two cultivation techniques. As for the Devouring Heaven Art, after absorbing the energy, it began to help Lin Rei break through to the Divine Lord realm. When he felt better and his body was getting stronger, Lin Rei quickly channeled the Chaos Body Refinement Art. He wanted his body to break through quickly. As for the realm, Lin Rei didn't want him to break through too quickly. After all, it had only been a few decades since his last breakthrough. He didn't want to break through so quickly. However, the current situation was no longer something that he could control. The three cultivation techniques had begun to break away from Lin Rei's control and began to circulate on their own. Sister. Quickly, look. At this moment. Not far from Lin Rei, the Liao siblings ran all the way and finally arrived. However, at this moment. The moment he arrived, Liao Jun saw a person being baptized by thunder and lightning in the purple ball of light in the sky. Suddenly, Liao Jun couldn't help but exclaim. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. This was because he knew the pain of being struck by lightning. Now that he saw someone bathing in the lightning, how could he not be surprised? At the same time, after Liao Jun exclaimed, Liao Yuning's gaze also observed the person in the purple light ball above her head. Suddenly, a familiar feeling surged in her heart. Why is it Lin Rei? He's using the lightning to break through the shackles of his body. What? That's Lin Rei? Liao Jun was even more shocked by the name that his sister said. He didn't expect the person bathing in lightning to be Lin Rei. That's right. His body refinement art is very powerful. If it wasn't for him, my soul would have been shattered by the lightning here. Speaking until here, Liao Yuning seemed to recall what happened before. At the same time, Liao Yuning's body began to tremble. Her eyes were filled with horror as though she thought of something that she didn't dare to do. When Liao Jun heard her words, his heart ached. He couldn't help but feel guilty at the thought of her soul almost being shattered. Back then, she came here to help him find Lin Rei. Otherwise, I would have long ceased to exist. Later on, he gave me a body-tempering cultivation method. After that, I began to work hard to cultivate here. Just like that, when I was cultivating nearby, I happened to see you. That's why I saved you. Hearing his sister's words, Liao Jun was startled. At the same time, he was filled with gratitude towards Lin Rei. Alright, aren't you looking for him? He's cultivating now. Let's wait for a while. Liao Yuning said. She sat cross-legged on the ground and closed her eyes to cultivate. As for Liao Jun, he looked up at the purple light ball in the sky without blinking. Lin Rei was bathing in lightning. However, right at this moment, another melodious scream resounded. Instantly, Liao Jun's heart tightened. His face was filled with worry. Break. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had been passive all this time, finally reached his limit. He had a feeling that as long as he persevered a little longer, he could break through the realm he wanted to reach. Then, his body that was wrapped in lightning began to understand. He began to practice the body refinement art of martial arts of chaos body refinement. Suddenly, Lin Rei began to wave his fist in the light ball. Every time he waved his fist, there would be a burst of explosion. The fist technique that was a little rusty at first, under Lin Rei's continuous wave, he began to gradually become proficient. As time went by, Lin Rei's fist technique became faster and faster. In the end, Lin Rei's fist could no longer be seen clearly. Of course, for those who had a high cultivation level, although they could see it, they could only see Lin Rei's figure. They couldn't see the trajectory of his fist at all. As time went by, the pain from before slowly disappeared as he practiced the fist technique. Finally, it disappeared completely. Bang! With an enormous explosion, a ray of golden light suddenly shot out, piercing into the heavens. As for the violet sphere of light surrounding Linley, as soon as the golden light appeared, it began to shatter into pieces, until it completely shattered. Humph, want to leave? Stay. Lin Rei, who had closed his eyes, felt the broken lightning energy escaping in all directions. Suddenly, the devouring heaven art was activated. A strange energy rushed out and wrapped around the energy that was trying to escape. In the end, Lin Rei absorbed all of it into his body. It became the nourishment for his improvement. Huff, energy absorption. Lin Rei felt very comfortable. He took a deep breath and collected the energy from his body. Suddenly, Lin Rei's cold face squeezed out a smile. I've finally broken through. God state middle stage physical body. I really hope that I can have a good battle now to test my current strength. Even though Lin Rei already had a goal of measuring his strength, he did not dare to jump to conclusions without a real test. Forget it. I'll think about it when I have the chance. Thinking that there were still people waiting for him on the ground, Lin Rei kept his energy. In a flash, he disappeared from where he was. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Luying. SSS, feeling Lin Rei's speed, everyone could not help but take in a deep breath of cold air. Their faces were filled with shock. Even though they were surprised by Lin Rei's speed in the past, it was not like now. They did not even know when he moved. When he appeared, it was even more mysterious. How was it? Did you guys have any breakthroughs in this period of time? The moment he arrived in front of everyone, he could feel the aura that was emitted from their bodies. We all had breakthroughs. I broke through to the late stage of God Emperor. Lin Tian is the same as me. As for sister-in-law, at this point, the young man did not continue, but his face was already red. In contrast, Lin Rei was confused. What's wrong with Ing? Just as he thought that Luiying was about to come out, a wave of energy rushed into Luiying's body and started to check on her. Feeling Lin Rei's worry, Luiying's heart warmed. Brother Lei, don't listen to their nonsense. I'm fine. They just feel bad that their strength did not surpass mine. Hearing this, Lin Rei laughed bitterly in his heart. Thinking about it carefully, that was indeed the case. Luiying was summoned by him, so her strength was directly linked to his. If his cultivation level increased, it meant that her strength increased as well. Sister-in-law, how can you be like this? How are we going to face others if you don't expose us? Hearing Luiying's words, the young man and Lin Tian turned their faces away in embarrassment. They did not dare to say anything else. All right. My physical body has already broken through. There's nothing worth staying here for us anymore. I want to continue to the last level of the 6th level. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. The comical atmosphere from before was quickly wiped away and they took this matter seriously. I agree. We're already here. It's a little too late to leave now. I agree to enter the 6th level. Chapter 552. Seeing the young man nodding in agreement, everyone else nodded in agreement one after another. All right, since that's the case, then, let's go. There was nothing to linger about here. Seeing that everyone had agreed, Lin Rei turned around and walked towards the stone tablet on the mountain. At this moment, just as Lin Rei turned around and was about to leave, 2 figures broke through the air and arrived. After feeling the surge of spatial energy, Lin Rei quickly turned around and looked at the 2 figures. It's them? Lin Rei recognized the 2 figures, especially Liao Yuning. She had saved him several times before. However, when he saw Liao Jun beside her, he frowned and was slightly surprised. Obviously, he didn't expect Liao Jun to be here. Soon, the Liao siblings arrived in front of Lin Rei and stopped. Brother Lin Rei, it's great that you're here. Liao Jun, who had just landed, stepped forward excitedly and opened his arms to hug Lin Rei. However, Lin Rei inadvertently dodged him. Liao Jun's hug missed and immediately stopped awkwardly. He turned around and smiled awkwardly. He didn't do anything like before. Looking at Liao Jun and Liao Yuning, Lin Rei asked in surprise, "Why is he here?" Hearing the question, before Liao Yuning could answer, Liao Jun quickly said, "My sister doesn't know. I forgot to tell you. Not only me, but all the disciples of the major sects, empires, and aristocratic families in the divine world are here. They should be here by now." What? Hearing this, Lin Rei was shocked. He didn't expect that not only Liao Jun, but also all the major forces in the divine world were here. What are you doing here? Didn't you seal this place as a forbidden area? Aren't you afraid of death? Lin Rei didn't understand this question. Lin Rei was shocked by their arrival. Not only Lin Rei, but also the others. Everyone looked at Liao Jun curiously, waiting for him to give an answer. Looking at the puzzled gazes of the crowd, Liao Jun didn't conceal anything and hurriedly told them what he knew. 300 years ago, a wave of death chi suddenly rushed out of the Death Canyon. After that, the various large sects sent people to guard it. But who would have thought that after 200 years, more and more death chi rushed out? Because of this, the various large sects felt that a rare treasure must have appeared in the Death Canyon, so, at this point, everyone understood the whole story. Regarding this, Lin Rei knew that all of this was closely related to him coming here. However, what he didn't know was that these phenomena were all unintentionally caused by him. It was just that he didn't know it himself. Alright, since that's the case, we have to speed up. Let's leave before they arrive and enter the 6th floor. With regards to Liao Jun's words, he understood that the reason why they were able to arrive so quickly was because he had passed the previous trials, especially the 1st and 4th trials. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for them to arrive so quickly. Yes, I know. With that, Lin Rei turned and prepared to leave. However, when he thought of Liao Jun and the others, Lin Rei turned and said to them, "Hurry up and leave this place. We have to leave too. Let's part here. We'll meet again if fate wills it." Liao Yuning wasn't surprised when she heard this because Lin Rei had rejected her countless times over the past few hundred years. She wasn't surprised at all. Liao Yuning didn't say anything else and turned to leave. However, Liao Jun refused to let it go. He rolled on the ground and made a scene. No. No, I finally found Lin Rei. I won't leave. I won't leave. If you want to leave, leave. With that, without waiting for the others to object, Liao Jun moved as fast as lightning and arrived in front of Lin Rei. He instantly squatted down and hugged Lin Rei's thigh, refusing to let go no matter what. With regards to Liao Jun's actions, Lin Rei was helpless. However, because they were all friends, he didn't want to use his cultivation for fear of hurting Liao Jun. Liao Jun, how old are you? Why are you still doing this? Stop fooling around and let go of me. I still have things to do. Although he said that, Lin Rei couldn't convince him at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left just like that back in Heaven's Wall City. Liao Yuning was also helpless with regards to Liao Jun's actions. She couldn't hit this younger brother of hers. No, I won't. Previously, you promised to become sworn brothers with me, but you changed your mind and left. This time, I won't let go of you no matter what. I'll go wherever you go. With that, Liao Jun's arms hugged Lin Rei's thigh even tighter. From the looks of it, Lin Rei believed what he said just now was true. At this moment, Lu Ying, who had been standing at the side, saw the stalemate and hurried over to Lin Rei's side. Lei Ji, why don't we let them follow us? Hoo, sister-in-law, you're too nice. Liao Jun, who was hugging Lin Rei's thigh, was touched when he heard Lu Ying's words. Looking at Liao Jun and thinking about his wife's words, Lin Rei nodded in agreement after thinking for a while. Alright, but remember, you're not allowed to cause any trouble. Okay, I definitely won't cause any trouble. Seeing that Lin Rei agreed, Liao Jun immediately handed over Lin Rei's thigh and stood up quickly. His face was full of smiles, and the tears in his eyes completely disappeared. With this acting, if he doesn't get an Oscar, it'll be a waste of his acting skills. After the matter was settled, Lin Rei led everyone to the top of the mountain. At this moment, a smile finally appeared on Liao Yuning's face. The top of the mountain was very easy for them, who were in the divine ancestor realm. They instantly soared into the air and flew towards the top of the mountain. Very quickly, they arrived at the top of the mountain. The words on the stone tablet fell into everyone's eyes. The 6th level, the entrance to the Netherworld's 9 Serenities seal. How can anyone from the divine realm enter so easily? These few simple words made everyone fall silent. However, apart from Lin Rei, everyone was silent. Seeing the words on the stone tablet, Lin Rei's cold face broke into a smile. It was a very happy smile, a smile so carefree that tears welled up in his eyes. But at this moment, seeing her husband's expression, Lu Ying's heart ached. Ever since she found out that her husband's memories had been erased, she had never seen him smile again. Now that he had appeared, his eyes were filled with tears. 9 Serenities Ghost Realm, Ling Air, I can finally find you. Just you wait. Even if I have to go to the heavens, I'll find you and let you be reborn. Looking at the stone tablet, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with determination. He lifted his feet and prepared to walk towards the 6th level. They were very supportive of Lin Rei's decision. As for Liao Jun and the rest, after seeing that Lin Rei had made his decision, they followed him. Just as everyone's strength reached the 6th level, Lin Rei stopped. One of Lin Rei's feet was already on the 6th level, while the other foot was still on the 5th level. Seeing Linley come to a halt, everyone was puzzled. And then, they all came to a halt as well, not moving at all as they stood behind Linley, waiting. At this moment, in the system space, Lin Rei was in the pitch-black space. He was pleasantly surprised to see a familiar figure in front of him. His eyes were moist. As for that familiar figure, as she looked at Linley, tears began to appear in her eyes as well. "Brat, during the time that I wasn't around, the system said that you've been doing well?" This familiar figure was none other than the little dragon, who had exhausted his energy and entered seclusion to cultivate because of Lin Rei. Just now, when Lin Rei was about to enter the 6th level, suddenly, the little dragon's voice stopped him. It did not allow him to enter the 6th level. "TCH, you still have the nerve to say that. Without you, I almost died." Looking at the little dragon, Lin Rei hurriedly said helplessly. He instantly rushed forward and hugged the little dragon. At the same time, looking at Lin Rei who protected him, the little dragon's eyes were filled with tenderness. "I know. Don't worry, I will give you a copy of the battle techniques you lost. As for your memories, I can't do anything about it." Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei let go of the little dragon and said with a little disappointment, "Yes, it's nothing. Don't worry, I'm not such a fragile person. Isn't it just that my memories were erased? But fortunately, I'm almost at the 6th level. I can see Ling Air soon." With that, Lin Rei's face showed a longing expression. He was even more excited. When he thought that he could see his son and wife soon, he was very excited. "Hee, look at you. Don't worry, I will help you with your wife and son. However, the most important thing now is to take the thing on this level. We can't let others take advantage of it." "Thing?" Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei was puzzled. "Well, that's right. If I didn't stop you just now, I'm afraid that this thing would have been missed by you." Hearing this sentence, Lin Rei's eyes showed a strange light. He knew that there was an extraordinary thing on the 5th level, but he did not look for it. "Oh. Go, it's under the stone tablet next to you. You'll find that thing soon." With that, the little dragon did not give Lin Rei a chance to speak and directly kicked Lin Rei out of the system. "Go to your uncle." Lin Rei, who had returned to his original body, could not help but curse. However, what was awkward was that at this moment, everyone behind him was looking at him strangely. When Lin Rei came back to his senses and realized that he had lost his composure, he also felt the same gaze coming from behind. Then, Lin Rei quickly pretended as if nothing had happened and went to the place that the little dragon said. Looking at the stone tablet in front of him and thinking of the thing that the little dragon said, Lin Rei did not think too much. Immediately, he gathered his strength and used all of his cultivation and physical strength to instantly punch the stone tablet. Bang! A loud sound was heard. Everyone was even more confused. They did not understand what Lin Rei was doing, but they knew that Lin Rei had his reasons for doing this. After the loud sound, Lin Rei raised his head to look at the stone tablet. Suddenly, he was shocked and his eyes were filled with shock. Chapter 553. Right now, the stone steel, which had been struck by his full force, was completely undamaged. Nothing had happened to it at all. What made Linley feel awkward was that there wasn't a single mark on the stone steel. Linley felt slightly disappointed. Looking at such a hard stone tablet, Lin Rei had a headache. If he couldn't break the stone tablet with his full strength, how could he take out the thing that was suppressed under the stone tablet? Just as Lin Rei was thinking about this, the little dragon in the system was already angered to death. "I say, kid, didn't you just get the dry water 10,000 art sword? What is that thing for?" That's right. The 10,000 art sword can cut iron like mud. It can even break a divine weapon. Thinking of this, the dry water 10,000 art sword instantly appeared in Lin Rei's hand. Looking at the dry water 10,000 art sword, his eyes focused, and then he swung the sword at the hard stone tablet in front of him. Bang! This time, Lin Rei looked at the stone tablet with a very determined gaze. Sure enough, when the sword went down, the stone tablet was cut into two from the middle by the dry water 10,000 art sword. In comparison, Lin Rei was shocked. Damn, what is this 10,000 art sword made of? It's so strong that I couldn't break the stone tablet with my full strength, but it was cut in half by his sword. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. However, no one said anything and just quietly watched Lin Rei's actions. Looking at the stone tablet that was cut in half by him, Lin Rei quickly put away the dry water 10,000 art sword. After moving the stone tablet, a long sword with lightning appeared in front of everyone. Why does it look so similar? Looking at this long sword, Lin Rei felt that he missed all the 10,000 art swords that he had. However, the little dragon said before that the 10,000 art sword had 5 long swords that corresponded to the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Therefore, Lin Rei directly dispelled the fact that it was the 10,000 art sword. However, the more Lin Rei looked at the sword, the more he thought about the 10,000 laws sword. Since he didn't understand, Lin Rei asked the little dragon in his mind. Little dragon, tell me about the origin of this sword. Since it can appear here and be suppressed by the stone tablet, its origin must not be simple. At this moment, in the system, the little dragon replied awkwardly after hearing Lin Rei's question. This. Actually, listening to the little dragon stammering, Lin Rei felt that something was wrong. Normally, if Lin Rei called him, he would definitely answer immediately and even fart. But now, he was acting like this. Seeing his hesitation, Lin Rei couldn't take it anymore and said, "All right, stop hesitating. Hurry up and tell me what this thing is." Hearing Lin Rei's words, the little dragon breathed a sigh of relief. "Sigh, I can't hide anymore." Then, he said quickly and firmly, "This sword is the 10,000 laws sword. It belongs to the 10,000 laws sword with the thunder attribute." "Oh, you want to fight?" Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei didn't come back to his senses for a moment. When he came back to his senses, he suddenly exclaimed, What? The 10,000 laws sword, thunder attribute?" Lin Rei digested the little dragon's words for a long time until he finally slowly accepted this matter. Little dragon, when can you be more reliable? You said before that the 10,000 laws sword corresponded to the 5 elements. Why did it come out with the thunder attribute now? You're making me feel awkward. I just remembered wrongly. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the little dragon hurriedly used the word remembered wrongly to try and get away with it. But how could Lin Rei get away with it so easily? You remembered wrongly? Now that you remember, tell me, how many of these 10,000 laws swords are there? Lin Rei especially wanted to know this question at this moment. No more, this is the next one. This is definitely the right one. At this moment, the little dragon said with certainty. In contrast, Lin Rei believed it. Okay, remember this sentence. If another 10,000 laws sword appears, we'll talk about it. After saying that, Lin Rei withdrew from the flat road where he talked to the little dragon. Then, he looked at the 10,000 laws sword in front of him with burning eyes. Since I've bumped into you, then you're mine. As he spoke, Linley impatiently stretched out his hand to grab her. Bzzz. At this moment, a terrifying electric current rushed out the moment Lin Rei's hand touched the 10,000 laws sword. It directly drilled into Lin Rei's arm and began to spread throughout his body. Awesome. For Lin Rei, who had been bathed in thunder and lightning, plus his body had broken through to the middle stage of the nervous system, he could still adapt to this electric current. After the electric current spread throughout his body, Lin Rei couldn't help but feel refreshed. Oh, you're still able to resist? Your 5 brothers are all in my hands. Do you think you can escape? Lin Rei said with a look of disdain. Then, he stretched out his hand again and directly grabbed the sword's hilt. Suddenly, the terrifying electric current rushed into Lin Rei's body again, but Lin Rei directly ignored it. Letting the electric current wash over his body, his hand tightly grasped the 10,000 laws sword and didn't let go. Then, Lin Rei quickly cut his hand and drops of purple blood instantly fell onto the blade of the 10,000 Laws sword. Wang! The sword trembled. The 10,000 Laws sword trembled for a while and then fell silent. Along with the silence of the 10,000 Laws sword, a message that didn't belong to it appeared. The Thunderbolt 10,000 Laws sword is the head of the 10,000 Laws sword. The 10,000 Laws sword is divided into 6 swords: thunder, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Thunder is the main source of thunder and lightning. Looking at the message in his mind, Lin Rei's heart was filled with information. Similarly, the little dragon's words were confirmed. What he said just now was right. There were a total of 6 10,000 Laws swords. However, what Lin Rei didn't expect was that the Thunderbolt 10,000 Laws sword in his hand was the head of the 10,000 Laws sword. Looking at Lin Li's delighted expression, Xiaolong directly opened his mouth and said, "Since you've taken the Thunder Attribute weapon, then this skill manual, as well as the stolen skill manual, I'll give it to you together." These words came so suddenly that Lin Li was stunned. But how could he refuse such a wonderful gift? Okay. After he finished speaking, he felt a strong surge of energy appear. Then, it turned into strange words. However, the moment the energy turned into words, they were directly engraved on the paper made of his bones. Looking at the characters engraved on the bone, the little dragon's words came again. "This time, I've engraved these battle techniques on your bone. Even if it's stolen by others, you don't have to worry." Seeing that the little dragon was so considerate of him, Lin Rei suddenly felt warm in his heart. He didn't say anything, but quietly looked at the battle techniques engraved on his bone. The free and unfettered sword technique, the martial god strategy, all the stolen cultivation methods have now returned. And what attracted Lin Rei's attention the most was the battle technique that Lin Rei gave him that was still engraved. The Heavenly Thunder Sword Technique. This face was created by the transformation of the heavenly tribulation of the Great Path in ancient times. The Great Path was simple, and it was supported by the law of destruction and the law of slaughter. The prerequisite for cultivation was to have a strong body. Of course, as long as you had enough physical body to cultivate the Heavenly Thunder Sword Technique, it would automatically open. If you forcibly opened it, you would only be devoured by it, as if you were bombarded by the Great Path Thunder Tribulation, your soul would scatter, and your fate would disappear. Wow, looking at this battle technique. Lin Rei was stunned. This battle technique could be said to be the most powerful cultivation method that Lin Rei had ever obtained. The little dragon, who was observing Lin Rei's every move in the system, said, "How is it? How is this cultivation method?" "Well, it's really good." Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei replied subconsciously. However, as soon as he said it, Lin Rei reacted. "However, this cultivation method has a very strong physical body requirement. I'm only at the middle stage of the God realm now. Can I cultivate it?" The little dragon was full of respect for Lin Rei's caution. Because in the past, as long as Lin Rei saw something good, he would directly cultivate it without worrying. "You've really changed. You've become more mature." The little dragon suddenly said so. Lin Rei blushed and felt a little embarrassed. This cultivation method can be cultivated. With your current physical strength, there's no problem at all. Hearing this, Lin Rei was relieved. However, he didn't have time to cultivate at this moment. Alas. It seems that I have to wait for a while. Let's talk about it after I rescue Ling, and. With that, Lin Rei reluctantly came back to his senses. He still had the urge to sit down and cultivate the Heavenly Lightning Sword art immediately. "Okay, you should go quickly. I feel that not far away, there's a huge and complex energy coming in your direction. It'll be here soon." "What?" Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei quickly used his divine sense. At this moment, Lin Rei could be said to be different from before. The moment Lin Rei released his divine sense, a complex energy appeared. Lin Rei's face turned cold. He knew very well that this energy was coming from the disciples of the major families, sects, and empires. Seeing that they were coming, Lin Rei didn't want to be entangled with them. He immediately called out to everyone, "Let's go. They're coming. Let's leave quickly. I don't want them to know my existence now." Hearing this, everyone's face turned solemn. They immediately nodded and followed Lin Rei into the 6th floor. At this moment, the moment Lin Rei and the others disappeared from the 5th floor, the people from the major forces arrived at the place where Lin Rei was just now. The two groups of people could be said to be one in front and one behind. The two groups of people were just a little bit away from bumping into each other. Someone has been here? Among the people who came to the top of the mountain, Elder Xiong of the Falling Star Pavilion was puzzled when he saw that the stone tablet was broken and the words on it were blurred. At the same time, Elder Xiong's words were heard by the people around him. Then, they opened up a large stone for observation. After a while, the observer stood up and said to everyone with a solemn expression, "The senior of the Falling Star Pavilion is right. This stone was just split open by a very sharp instrument." "What? Just now? Could it be that someone was one step ahead of us?" Chapter 554. Just then, someone stood out and shouted, "If you want to know the result, then go to the 6th floor. Didn't that person just leave? Why don't you go in and take a look? You might even be able to catch up to him if you go in now." Just as everyone was wondering what was going on, they suddenly came to a realization after hearing this sentence. Then, they looked at the person who spoke. They looked. Everyone then realized that the person who spoke was Elder Su Ning, who was sent by Qian Kuan. They thought that he was a middle-stage god monarch expert. "Alright, since that's the case, my divine sect will go first." Pang Long of Divine Sect jumped out and said righteously. What right does your divine sect have to go first? We, the 3 upper sects, should go first." In response to Pang Long's words, all the major powers stood up and disagreed. Compared to Pang Long, they had nothing to say, nor did they have a strong attitude. After all the sects here were top-notch or first-grade sections. In terms of sect background, everyone was about the same. That's enough, everyone. If you keep arguing like this, who knows how far that person would have run away? Perhaps he obtained a treasure on this level. What if he obtained a treasure on the 6th level and left directly? Then all of our efforts here would have been for naught. Looking at the arguing scene, Su Ning stood out and tried to resolve the situation. Hearing this, everyone stopped arguing and didn't act like before. "Alright, since your divine sect wants to go first, then fine." Saying this, the 3 upper sects who were fighting to go first retreated to the side and made an inviting gesture. Pang Long was surprised at the sudden change of mind of the 3 upper sects. Such a top sect would actually back down because of a single sentence from Qian Kuan's sect. But looking at the opportunity to go first, Pang Long didn't give up. So what if there was danger ahead? "Alright, since the 3 upper sects' friends are so humble, my divine sect won't stand on ceremony." Saying this, Pang Long waved his hand and said to the divine sect disciples, "Let's go. Be alert and be careful." Saying this, Pang Long took a step forward and entered the 6th floor. As for the divine sect disciples, they followed closely behind, not daring to fall behind. The people from divine sect disappeared into the 5th level. Next, they entered the upper 3 gates, followed by Enigma Palace, and so on. Heavenly Spring Sect, Yuandao Empire, and so on. However, the last one to enter was the Qinkuan sect. The moment everyone entered, Su Ning, who had originally looked calm and peaceful, suddenly looked gloomy. "More so, I'll let you guys test the waters. The disciples of my Qinkuan sect are extremely precious." If the people from the other sects who had entered earlier were to hear these words, they would definitely join forces to attack Qinkuan sect. But what a pity. They would never know that they were being used as guinea pigs by others. The 6th floor, the entrance to the 9 underworlds. In Lin Rei's imagination, this place should be gray and overcast, without any possibilities. It should be lifeless. However, the moment Lin Ray entered the 6th floor through the tunnel, he was shocked by the environment of the 6th floor. This place wasn't as lifeless as he had imagined, wasn't dusky, and it wasn't as if there weren't any living creatures. However, it was precisely the opposite of what he had imagined. At this moment, Lin Ray was standing in front of a dense forest. It was filled with life, and it didn't seem like the entrance to the 9 underworlds at all. What surprised Lin Ray even more was that in the previous 5 floors, it was difficult to even see a bird, let alone spiritual energy. However, not only was there abundant spiritual energy here, but there were also birds and beasts. Lin Ray could even hear the roars of beasts. Instantly, Lin Ray couldn't help but suspect that they had already been transported out of the Death Valley. Brother Lei, what's going on? Why is this place different from the previous places? At this moment, a male disciple who was equally confused hurried to Lin Ray's side and asked. In contrast, when the male disciple spoke, everyone's gaze was focused on Lin Ray. They wanted to seek an answer. In response to everyone's gazes and his male disciple's question, Lin Ray could only shake his head and tell them that he actually didn't know what was going on either. Let's go. Although I don't know where this is, this should be the 6th floor. Let's walk around and we'll know. As he spoke, Lin Li took the lead and walked towards the forest in front of him. As for the male disciple, he hurriedly followed after Lin Li after he finished speaking. Along the way, everyone entered the forest. Along the way, Lin Ray was very curious about this place. He still couldn't believe that this was the 6th floor. Looking at the thick and tall trees around him, Lin Ray couldn't help but continue walking forward. News. Not bad. I didn't expect you to become so mature in such a short time. Good. At this moment, just as Lin Ray was walking forward, the little dragon's voice suddenly sounded. Instantly, Lin Ray was startled. F***CK, are you crazy? This is the 6th floor, and you always appear so mysteriously. Do you know that there is a limit to how much my heart can bear? If one day I'm really scared to death by you, then you can cry. After hearing Lin Ray's words, the little dragon in the system suddenly burst into laughter. He was rocking back and forth and almost laughed out loud. Listening to the little dragon's laughter, Lin Ray helplessly rolled his eyes at the little dragon. He didn't intend to continue talking to him. In this place where the strange phenomenon was prominent, if he wasn't careful, he might lose his life. This was a substantial lesson from the previous floors. After a long time, the little dragon's laughter finally disappeared and was replaced by a very serious voice. Alright, I won't play with you anymore. You were right before. This is indeed the 6th floor. Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray was curious. The previous 5 floors were the same, but now it was a completely different scene. Wasn't the difference a little too big? Knowing Lin Ray's doubts, the little dragon quickly told him what he knew. You have to be careful. According to the system prompt, there is a very powerful family guarding this place. They are afraid that people will enter the 9 Nether. However, the seal at the entrance to the 9 Nether was destroyed, so, what, family guarding? This news wasn't good news for him. If there was really such a family, how powerful would they be? Lin Ray didn't dare to imagine. But his purpose of coming here was, thinking until here, Lin Ray was in a difficult position. If he stopped here, then everything would be in vain. Then what should I do? I can't just give up like this. My son and wife are waiting for me. Seeing Lin Ray's agitated look, the little dragon quickly stopped him. Alright, don't worry. I only said that there is a family guarding this place. I didn't say that there is no way to enter the 9 Nether. Why are you so agitated? Why didn't you say so earlier? Lin Ray was very angry at the little dragon's hesitation. This matter wasn't as bad as he thought, but he would be angered to death by the other party's habit in the end. Alright, it's my fault, okay? Hearing the little dragon's apology, Lin Rei's expression eased a lot. He then asked, tell me, what method can I use to enter the Nine Nether? This question was of utmost importance to Lin Rei. So, even if the little dragon didn't say it, he would still go in. No matter who was blocking his way, he would kill gods if gods blocked his way. With a spear in hand, the world was his. TSK, I say, is your brain getting worse and worse? Did you forget the space-time teleportation thing I gave you before? Hearing this, Lin Rei carefully searched for it in his mind. Unfortunately, he couldn't find it. It was very likely that it was erased by the Soul Devourer. Alright, since you have a way, then I'm relieved. When the time comes, you just have to give me that teleportation thing. You don't have to interfere with the rest. At this time, Lin Rei's words were very temperamental. Hearing his words, the little dragon responded without giving face. TSK, you're thinking too much. When did I say I was going to interfere? The moment he finished speaking, the little dragon's voice disappeared from Lin Rei's mind. He knew that the little dragon should have gone to prepare something for him. At this moment, Lin Rei's mind moved automatically. His consciousness instantly entered the system's martial arts practice field. Looking at the more than 20 Shura clansmen who were still cultivating, he felt the aura emitted from their bodies. Suddenly, an excited smile appeared on Lin Rei's face. Wake up, all of you. A voice exploded in everyone's mind. In the next moment, all the Shura clansmen woke up from their cultivation and looked at them. Lin Rei didn't say anything. His consciousness wrapped around them. With a thought, he instantly teleported them out of the system space. At this moment, the people who were walking outside suddenly saw the Shura clansmen appear and immediately became vigilant. Although they had seen them before, it was only a passing encounter. Besides Lin Rei, no one else could spy on them. Of course, there were other people. Greetings, young master. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had returned to his body, heard their words and smiled. Well, you're all out. Then continue with your mission. A simple sentence made everyone puzzled. Mission? Of course, they didn't know what mission it was. Yes, we obey. The more than 20 Shura clansmen understood. In the next moment, they disappeared on the spot. Seeing them suddenly appear and disappear, most of the people knew what was going on. Of course, other than the Liao siblings who insisted on following. After feeling the aura of the Shura clansmen around him, Lin Rei nodded slightly and quickly walked forward. At this moment, at the entrance of the 6th floor, people began to appear continuously. Everyone who appeared looked the same as Lin Rei and the others. It could be said that they were even better than Lin Rei and the others. More and more people came. Everyone's first expression when they saw this place was the same. Chapter 555. Hiss, everyone couldn't help but gasp. The shock on their faces didn't diminish, but instead intensified. Everyone had to be cautious of one thing: disbelief, astonishment, and shock from the bottom of their hearts. How can this be? How can this be? This was Su Ning, who was the last to appear. After seeing this scene, it took a long time for him to regain his senses. Then, he couldn't help but exclaim. In contrast, no one knew what was going on here. They only knew that this was an extremely dangerous place. Even though they were in disbelief, it wasn't safe for them alone. Let's go. Everyone, be careful. The one who spoke first was still Pang Long of Archaean Sect. In his mind, there must be a lot of precious medicinal ingredients in this place. Whoever walked in front of him would be able to get more. However, this thought appeared in everyone's mind. They were all very excited. When they saw that Divine Sect was one step ahead, everyone instantly panicked, including Elder Su Ning of Qinkuan Sect. Even though they knew that this place was dangerous, no one could resist the temptation of heavenly treasures. Whoosh! 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 Immediately, everyone took to the air and flew towards the depths of the forest. However, when they reached the edge of the forest's entrance, an invisible energy instantly appeared and blocked everyone's path. With a rebounding force, everyone was sent flying far away before coming to a stop with great difficulty. This energy made even divine monarch stage experts like them helpless. In comparison, everyone could only walk in unison. Just like this, everyone began to compete in speed. Even though they were walking, they still wanted to see who would be first. Lin Rei, who was walking far ahead, naturally didn't know about this scene. If he knew, he would have laughed himself to death. This was something that the top sects on the righteous path would do. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't have the time to care about this. His only thought was to enter the 9th Nether Ghost Realm and save his wife and children. This was his only goal right now. Along the way, no one dared to disturb him after seeing his nervous expression. Swish. Swish, just as everyone was moving forward, there was a sudden movement in a bush not far away. Everyone was nervous to begin with and was very sensitive to the sudden sound. The moment the voice appeared, everyone froze in place. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the swaying grass. Just as everyone was about to move, a rabbit jumped out from the ear of the rooster. Damn, seeing that the instigator of all this was a rabbit, the young man couldn't help but blurt out a string of profanities. At this moment, Lin Rei also relaxed and was about to continue his journey. But at this moment, the bush swayed again. Apart from Lin Rei, no one else paid attention to it. Aya, let's go. Maybe it's some small animal or something? The young man said. Similarly, apart from Lin Rei, everyone walked forward. Lin Rei also stayed in place and stared at the bush where the prank was. When the bush swayed for the second time, Lin Rei felt a trace of killing intent. He knew that this couldn't be the same as before. At this moment, the young man felt that Lin Rei didn't follow him. He suddenly stopped and turned around to look at Lin Rei, who was still in place. He walked up to him and asked in confusion. Brother Lei, what's wrong? Isn't it just a rabbit? Why are you so nervous? While speaking, the young man also looked at the bush. At this moment, a figure slowly stood up from the bush. Hiss, it had to be said that the young man saw it just in time. When he saw the sudden appearance of a person, shock, and disbelief filled his whole face. Oh, I knew it was impossible to see him like this. At this moment, when he saw the appearance of that person, his previous opinion was confirmed. At the same time, when Lin Rei saw the man behind the bush, the first thing that came to his mind was the family guarding this place, not the big forces coming in from outside. Not for anything else, but because the man was wearing animal skin, he could guess his identity. Looking at him, Lin Rei didn't relax his vigilance. Instead, he became more nervous. Fellow Taoist, I'm Lin Rei. I came here to. Just when Lin Rei was about to visit the mountain, the man in animal skin suddenly interrupted him. Okay, don't tell me where you came from. I don't care about that at all. I just want to say that you can't go in here. You must have seen the stone tablet at the entrance. This is the place where the entrance to the ghost realm is sealed. So, you'd better go back. Sure enough, after hearing this, Lin Rei was more certain that this man was one of the family guarding this place. In contrast, Lin Rei's eyes were full of respect. It was not easy for them to guard this place for so many years, and it was for the whole divine realm and all the planes in the lower world. But Lin Rei didn't like what he said. After all, it was not easy for him to come here. It took him 300 or 400 years. How could he give up just because of the other party's words? Fellow Taoist, I really have an urgent matter to attend to and want to enter the ghost realm. Please inform them. I have a corresponding reward. If it's possible, please make an exception. Speaking of this, Lin Rei's eyes burst with killing intent. Killing intent began to surge in his body, and his fighting spirit soared. Oh, what can you do if you don't make an exception? Hearing the man's words, Lin Rei released all his cultivation. If you don't make an exception, then I can only force my way in. As he spoke, the chaotic dragon spear instantly rushed toward the man. At the same time, Lin Rei's body disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was behind the man in animal skin sweater. I really have an urgent matter. If I continue, I'll offend you. As he spoke, he threw a punch at the man's head. With the chaotic dragon spear in front and Lin Rei behind, the man felt a huge threat. His face turned cold. Suddenly, a pressure that was stronger than Lin Rei's appeared. Humph, you're the first in a million years to behave atrociously in my Gu family. Be careful, I won't let you die too miserably. Hearing the man's words, a bad premonition surged in his heart. Suddenly, a majestic fist intent rushed toward him. Facing such a dangerous feeling, Lin Rei's instinctive reaction was to retreat immediately. Just as Lin Rei retreated far away, the chaotic dragon spear was already in front of the man. When the man felt it, he instantly grasped the spear's shaft tightly with one hand. Looking at the spear in his hand, the man's face was filled with ecstasy. He reached out and stroked the chaotic dragon spear in his hand with admiration. Good stuff. But since it has already recognized its owner, it's useless to keep it. Speaking of this, the man instantly moved his hand. The chaotic dragon spear flew toward Lin Rei as if it had a spirit. Seeing the man's actions, Lin Li couldn't help but admire him from the bottom of his heart. This was the first time he had met someone like this. In the past, whenever he saw his spear, the first word that came to his mind was plunder. But this man in front of him had actually given it to him. Seeing that, Lin Li no longer had any desire to fight. Next, he retracted his cultivation base, dispelling the killing intent emanating from his body. His face softened considerably. Looking at Lin Rei's actions, the man also withdrew his cultivation. He wanted to see what Lin Rei was going to do. Worry. Since you won't let me in, you should at least let me see the leader of your family who is guarding this place. Looking at Lin Rei's anxious face, the man was very curious. Why do you have to go into the ghost realm? Regarding this question, Lin Li had nothing to hide. When my sect was surrounded, my wife and child were forced to death. Therefore, I want to enter the ghost realm to find my wife and child. Fellow Taoist, please make an exception. Hearing the reason why Lin Li had to enter, the man was moved. Fine. Stay here for a while. I'll notify the patriarch. But of course, I'm just going to introduce you to him. I don't know if it'll work or not. Hearing this, Lin Rei nodded excitedly and said, Good. Thank you for making an exception. You just have to let me see your clan leader. After that, I'll settle it. The result at this time was already the best. As for meeting their clan leader, he would think about it when the time came. Time passed by slowly. After a while, a stream of light rushed over from a distance. Well, the clan leader's message is here. It's still unknown whether he can see you or not. With that, the man reached out and caught the stream of light. When the light disappeared, a talisman appeared in the man's hand. Looking at the talisman, the man immediately activated his spiritual energy. A familiar voice rang out, but Lin Li couldn't recall where he had heard it before. Why don't you bring him over for me to take a look? Lin Rei was very familiar with this voice. However, because his memory was erased, this voice only gave Lin Rei a familiar feeling. But in any case, the clan leader guarding this place agreed to meet him. Lin Rei was already very grateful. You heard it. In that case, let's go. Hearing the man's words, Lin Rei smiled and nodded. He thought that everything was over, but who would have thought that at this moment, 15, who was hiding in the air, suddenly appeared. He came to Lin Rei's side and whispered in his ear. Young master, the major forces of the divine realm are here. What do you think we should do? The moment Lin Rei heard this news, a wave of anger surged into his heart. The murderous intent that had dissipated earlier instantly erupted. Kill them. Leave no one alive. Yes. Hearing this, 15 received the order and disappeared instantly. At this moment, the man who had been standing next to him was stunned when he saw 15. This was because he felt that 15 gave him a very dangerous feeling. Chapter 556. What's wrong? Sensing the killing intent emanating from Lin Ray, the man asked curiously. Up till now, he had not sensed a group of people rushing towards them. They're here. Seeing the man's confusion, Lin Ray replied seriously. What's here? He still didn't quite understand Linley's words, so he turned to look at Linley. A bunch of flies. Disgusting flies. Get ready. It might be troublesome later. As he spoke, Linley no longer paid any more attention to the man. Turning around, he ordered his subordinates, prepare for battle. Once they arrive, kill them without mercy, especially those from the Chinkuan sect. At this moment, Lin Ray was filled with killing intent. Anyone from Chinkuan sect that came would be killed. It didn't matter if they had participated in the attack on his sect or not. Yes, we will obey your orders. The moment they heard Lin Ray's order, everyone entered battle mode. Even the man beside him was shocked by their speed. TSK, such speed. Looking at the way everyone was acting. No matter how dumb the man was, he would know that someone was coming. Very quickly, hundreds of people appeared in front of Lin Ray. Seeing this, the man's heart skipped a beat. He was about to send a message to his family. Looking at the man, Lin Ray laughed coldly. Then, he ignored him and rushed out in an instant. The moment Lin Ray moved, the man and the others moved as well. They quickly followed behind Lin Ray. As for the 20-odd Shura tribesmen who were hiding in the air, they spread out the moment they received Lin Ray's order. The hundreds of people arrived in the blink of an eye, all of them looking at Lin Ray warily. Just at this moment, Lin Ray's appearance caused them to stop in their tracks. Looking at the group of people standing not too far away, everyone stopped. Among them, Elder Su Ning from Chinkuan's sect asked with an unfriendly expression, "May I ask who this friend is?" At this point, before he could even finish, Linley cut him off. Go back. This isn't a place for you to come. This is just a reminder. If you don't listen, then I'll have no choice but to take action. With that, he placed the Chaos Dragon Spear in front of his chest and a strong killing intent surged towards them. Sensing the immense killing intent, how could these elders, who had always been in high positions, accept being rejected? Hearing Linley's words, Su Ning's face turned ashen as he spoke harshly. You want us to leave? Do you think that's possible? Not only Chinkuan sect, but even God's sect and the 3 upper sects will not agree to it. What? You're from Chinkuan sect? Hearing the elder say that he was from Chinkuan sect, Lin Ray frowned and a crazed look appeared in his eyes. What's wrong? Since you know that I'm from Chinkuan sect, why aren't you moving aside and letting us pass? At this moment, Elder Su Ning saw the strange look on Lin Ray's face after hearing that he was from Chinkuan sect and thought that Lin Ray had heard of him before. But he didn't expect that Lin Ray wasn't afraid. Instead, Lin Ray became even more excited after hearing that he was from Chinkuan sect. Since you're from Chinkuan sect, that makes things easier. Hearing this, the people following Elder Su Ning thought that the person blocking them was really afraid of Chinkuan sect and became restless. That's good. Other than Chinkuan sect, the rest of you can leave. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. With that, Elder Su Ning channeled his cultivation into the Chaos Dragon Spear. Instantly, 9 dragons appeared and circled above Lin Ray's head. Instantly, a sense of holiness and mystery exuded from Lin Ray's body. SSS. Dragon race? How can there be a dragon race? Everyone was shocked at the sight of the dragon race. In their minds, the dragon race was an extremely powerful race. They hadn't appeared in the world for millions of years. Who would have thought that they would see 9 of them here today? But not long after, someone realized that the dragons circling in the air weren't real dragon race. They were dragon souls. But compared to them, everyone was shocked. What kind of existence could make a dragon race willing to become a dragon soul? They didn't dare to imagine. Because in their world, such a person hadn't appeared yet. Of course, unless it was a sage. Looking at the 9 dragons above Lin Rei's head, everyone started to retreat in fear. Although they were from a top sect, it was because of this that they cherished their lives even more. At this moment, Gu Si, who was in the crowd, stared at Lin Li in shock. Why is he here? And why is he so powerful? Is this really the same person I brought into the sect? When he saw Lin Rei again after coming here, he immediately recognized that he was the Lin Rei that he had chosen and brought into the sect. However, Lu Yunhan, who was beside him, was even more shocked. When she saw Lin Li, she was instantly stunned and her eyes were filled with disbelief. He couldn't help but recall the incident in the forbidden grounds of the divine sect. At this moment, he really wanted to go up and ask if he was the person who had saved him. But looking at the situation, he gave up in the end. Moreover, they weren't the only ones. Lin Rei had also noticed them. But there was nothing he could do. If they knew that he was from the divine sect, then his 1,000-year mission would be in vain. Compared to Lin Rei, he could only bide his time. At most, he would go easy on them. Alright, I've given you time to consider. Since you don't cherish it, then all of you shall die here. As he spoke, the 9 dragons circling above Lin Li's head charged towards the Qianquan sect, bringing with them a majestic dragon's might. They had an unstoppable aura, as though they wanted to tear them apart. On the other hand, Su Ning was elated. He thought that Lin Rei was going to challenge his sect. But he didn't expect the first attack to be directed at them. He knew that the person in front of him wasn't a friend. He was an enemy. All Qianquan sect disciples, listen up. Kill him. Leave no one alive. Yes. Yes. Hearing Su Ning's order, everyone roared towards the sky. Then, they released their cultivation and charged towards Lin Rei. Good. Come on. Let me show you what it means to be a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Thinking about it, Lin Rei laughed coldly. Then, the Chaos Dragon spear in his hand moved. It started to turn illusory. Stratagem of the martial god, ultimate kill. Instantly, the stratagem of the martial god that Lin Fan had recultivated was executed. Because it was the stratagem of the martial god that Lin Fan had recultivated, the proficiency and strength of the stratagem of the martial god was much higher than before. Instantly, tens of thousands of Chaos Dragon spears appeared in front of Lin Rei, forming a huge wall of spears. At this moment, the Qianquan sect disciples who were charging towards Lin Rei were shocked and they saw the wall of spears. They quickly turned around and fled the way they came. Do you think you can escape? Looking at their fleeing figures, Lin Rei couldn't help but recall the scene of the Qianquan sect besieging his wife and children. Die. After saying that, Lin Rei swung his sleeves. Instantly, the wall of spears was activated and charged towards them at lightning speed. Swoosh. With the sound of space being torn apart, the wall of spears disappeared in an instant. At this moment, seeing Lin Rei's attack, Su Ning's eyes were red with anger as he roared, "How dare you!" However, by the time he spoke, it was already too late. The wall of spears disappeared in an instant and caught up with the fleeing Qianquan sect disciples. Screams of agony rang out. Instantly, everyone who was fighting stopped as they quietly watched the scene of the disciples of Qianquan being massacred. No. Hearing the tragic screams and seeing the disciples he brought being killed one by one, Su Ning couldn't help but rush towards the wall of spears. He was afraid that if he was one step late, all of his disciples would be killed here. Back off. Su Ning, who was in the monarch god realm, released his cultivation and rushed to the side of the disciple who was still alive. He reached out his hand and threw the disciple behind him. At the same time, he used his other hand to slap the wall of spears. With a loud bang, the scene changed once again. The instant Su Ning's palm collided with Lin Rei's martial god strategy, a terrifying energy came from the wall of spears. How could it be so powerful? How is this possible? Feeling the energy, Su Ning quickly retracted his other hand and joined the battle. At this moment, just when Su Ning couldn't take care of it, a spear instantly left the wall of spears and charged towards the Qinkuan sect disciples that Su Ning saved. Puchi, a familiar sound entered Su Ning's ears. Immediately, Su Ning looked towards the disciple that he saved with great difficulty. At this moment, the disciple was killed by the spear. Immediately. After that, boundless anger surged into his heart. Ah, bastard, you dare to touch the person that I am protecting? Die. As he spoke, a boundless energy appeared and started to confront Lin Rei's martial god strategy. In comparison, Lin Rei's face was still cold. However, he was shocked. Previously, he felt that he could fight against a monarch god expert. Now, it was finally proven. Not only him, you will die too. Right here, die. As he spoke, Lin Rei disappeared in front of everyone. When he reappeared, he was behind Su Ning. Then, he reached out his hand towards the wall of spears and a chaos dragon spear instantly rushed into Lin Rei's hand. Not only here, even if it is the Qinkuan sect outside, I will kill them all. This is the price you have to pay for offending me. As he spoke, he used the most basic silent thunder spear art. A formless purple lightning appeared instantly and with a boundless spear intent, it pierced towards Su Ning's back. No, Su Ning can't die. If he dies, our chances of getting the items here will be even lower. Chapter 557. That's right. Since that's the case, let's go. Let's save Su Ning and then attack that person. What do you think? At this moment, the elders of the top sects began to plan. However, Lin Rei was completely unaware. That's feasible. Let's do this. They reached a consensus. Just as Su Ning was about to die under Lin Rei's hands, 3 divine monarch realm elders suddenly appeared. They simultaneously used their battle techniques and clashed with Lin Rei's spear. Sensing their actions, Lin Rei was furious. He originally didn't plan to attack. After all, they were all from top sections. It wouldn't be good if he offended all of them. Who knew that they would be so shameless? Fine. Since you're like this, don't blame me for not showing mercy. With that, Lin Rei quickly separated from them. As for Su Ning, she was temporarily safe. At this moment, the spear wall dissipated into the void. Oh. Kid, don't bite your tongue. We have so many divine monarchs here. Do you think you can escape? Even if you can fight above your level, how many divine monarchs do you think you can kill? At this moment, Pang Long, who was standing in the crowd, said with disdain. Moreover, he thought so. Although it was rare for people to fight above their level, it wasn't frightening. Oh, is that so? Why do you think I don't have any divine monarchs here? What? Hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone was shocked. Then, they stared at Lin Rei, not daring to blink for a moment. At this moment, the moment Lin Rei finished speaking, the 20 Azura clan members hiding in the sky suddenly appeared beside Lin Rei. Every one of them had a powerful aura. The lowest cultivation was at the middle stage of Divine Ancestor while the best was at the late stage of Divine Monarch. When this scene appeared, everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. They were all speechless. How is this possible? Who is he? Why are there so many experts protecting him? Who is he? At this moment, Gu Si, who had been observing Lin Rei, was shocked when he saw so many experts appear. At the same time, the same question appeared again. Who was this person? Not only him, even Lu Yunhan, who was beside him, had the same thought. When the two of them first met, he was only at the divine armament realm. But now, in just 300 to 400 years, his cultivation had grown to such a level that he could only look up to. Boom, just as everyone was preparing to fight, a force that caused everyone to tremble suddenly appeared. In an instant, everyone was suppressed without any ability to fight back, and they were unable to move. SSS, as soon as this power appeared, everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air as they looked towards the source of the mysterious power. How is this possible? How can there be such a powerful force here? What kind of realm can do this? At this moment, Linley, who was similarly suppressed on the ground, was incomparably shocked. Although he had felt an even stronger power from Xiaolong's body before, when he felt the existence of a power that made him unable to fight back, Linley's heart was extremely shocked. Kid, you're in for it. I'm guessing this is the clan head that has been guarding this clan for generations? At this moment, the little dragon's voice sounded. Lin Rei was even more shocked by the little dragon's news. He immediately looked up. He wanted to see what kind of existence could be so powerful that he couldn't fight back. You really don't know what's good for you. How many lives do you think you can live to fight in the ancient clan's territory? An extremely ancient and mysterious voice rang out. From the voice, one could tell that the person who spoke was an old man. However, at this moment, Linley, who was lying on the ground motionlessly and staring fixedly at that place, had a confused look in his eyes. This was because he heard a familiar feeling from that voice. He kept feeling that he had heard it somewhere before, but he just couldn't remember where. Where have I heard it before? He couldn't remember in the end. However, when he thought about how they had been guarding this place, he shook his head with a bitter smile. How is that possible? They have been guarding this place for a long time and have probably never left. How could I have heard of or seen him before? Thinking of this, Lin Rei let his imagination run wild. At this moment, an old man wearing a white Taoist robe with an 8 trigrams pattern stepped on the void and slowly walked towards the crowd. Seeing the lotus under the old man's feet, everyone frowned and their faces were filled with shock. Lotus domain? How is this possible? At this moment, Su Ning, who was almost killed by Lin Rei, was shocked when she saw the lotus under the old man's feet. Lin Rei, who was suppressed, heard this as well. However, he didn't know what the lotus domain meant. Little kid, you're not bad. You even know about my lotus domain. However, even so, it can't make up for your mistake of messing around here. Step by step, the old man finally stepped into Lin Rei's line of sight. At this moment, when Lin Rei saw the old man, he froze on the spot as if he had been struck by lightning. His eyes were filled with shock. It wasn't an ordinary shock. It was the kind of shock that made him go into a daze. At this moment, he couldn't help but tear up. There was shock and guilt in his eyes. Why is he here? What's going on? At this moment, the old man that Lin Rei saw was none other than his wife's elder sister who had died in Shuaikan village in the depths of the Sea of Innocence in the mysterious heavenly continent. At the same time, he was also his savior, grandfather Jean. At this moment, Lin Rei's mind was blank. He remembered that when his wife was pregnant with Jean N, he had brought his wife to look for him. However, he had already left at that time and no one knew where he went. Since then, Lin Rei had never seen him again. However, he had now appeared here. Moreover, he had become the head of the clan that guarded the ghost world. Moreover, his cultivation base made Lin Rei even more puzzled. All of this was beyond Lin Rei's satisfaction. In fact, Lin Rei never thought that he would see this old man again one day. No, we just, at this moment, Su Ning's heart was already filled with fear when he heard the old man's words. However, before he could finish his explanation, the old man's words were heard again. Don't explain. There's a boundary marker outside. The disciples of the celestial realm can't enter here without permission. What about you? Judging from your clothes, you should be the disciples and disciples of that old thing, the cauldron of heaven and earth. Don't you know that this is the place that leads to the ghost world? Who gave you the courage to come here? Moreover, the soul devourer guarding the first layer must have stopped you. Su Ning burst into tears when he heard this. He had never seen the old man before. Moreover, how could they go against someone who had already reached the ultimate god realm as an old thing? Say. Senior, I'm really sorry. We didn't do it on purpose. Moreover, we didn't see the soul devourer at the first layer that you mentioned. As for the boundary marker outside, it was already broken when we arrived. We didn't know about it at all. Therefore, please let us go for the sake of our ancestor. Su Ning's face was filled with tears as he spoke. His eyes were filled with fear and his body was trembling uncontrollably. If he wasn't suppressed by the energy, he would have knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the old man. Oh. Hearing Su Ning's words, the old man hesitated for a moment before he said, even so, you shouldn't be so presumptuous. This isn't a place for you to stay. Right now, Linley, who had been suppressed this entire time, was staring at the aura emanating from the old man's body. It was completely different from the aura of the old man in his memories. The two of them were completely different in nature. At this moment, Lin Rei had already started to separate the two of them from each other. However, when he heard that the old man wanted to let Su Ning and the others go, Lin Rei was unwilling to do so. Although this was the old man's territory, Lin Rei would rather kill the wrong person than let the Qinkuan sect go. Senior, I don't agree with what you're about to say. I'm going to kill this person and no one can stop me. As soon as Lin Rei's voice sounded, everyone turned to Lin Rei. Similarly, Lin Rei's words attracted the old man's attention. If you don't agree, then, at this moment, the old man heard Lin Rei's words and turned around in displeasure. He couldn't continue his sentence. Upon seeing the old man's pause, everyone shifted their attention back to him. At this moment, his face was filled with agitation and tears welled up in his eyes. At this moment, he looked as though he had aged a lot. Lin Rei also witnessed this scene. While he was puzzled, he recalled something. Xiao Rui. You're Xiao Rui? Linley's body froze when he heard this. His face was filled with disbelief and amazement as he stared at the old man. He was very familiar with the name Xiao Rui because he had used that name when he was in the profound sky continent. Besides, other than him, only his deceased wife and son and the missing grandpa Jean knew this name. Looking at the old man's reaction and hearing him call out, Xiao Rui, Lin Rei connected the dots that he had previously rejected. Are you Grandpa Jean? As soon as Rode said this, the old man trembled. His eyes were filled with agitation and tears flowed down his cheeks uncontrollably. Tears streamed down her face as she nodded frantically in response, just like a child. Seeing this, Linley's heart clenched in pain. His eyes were filled with guilt and tears. Whenever he thought of Jean Ling and Jean An's deaths, he couldn't explain it to the old man. Chapter 558. This scene was naturally seen by everyone. Immediately, a bad feeling surged in their hearts. How is this possible? How could they know each other? At this moment, the ones who had the biggest headache were the elders of the various factions. They originally wanted to borrow the old man's hand to kill this brat who made them lose face. However, the situation was obviously different from what they imagined. Everyone was stunned by the current situation. They saw the brat who was their enemy calling that mysterious expert grandpa. They knew that they were destined to be the ones at a disadvantage today. Yes, I am Grandpa Jean. Xiao Rui, why are you here? Aren't you in the profound heaven continent? Hearing this, Lin Rei was completely sure that the person in front of him was the one from the profound heaven continent. There was no doubt about it. I am out. I have been out for more than 1,000 years. I have stayed in the immortal world for a few hundred years. I just came to the divine world not long ago. Lin Rei, who was lying on the ground, had tears on his face. He was afraid that the old man would ask him who Jin Ling was. However, he was also looking forward to it because this was the only way he could enter the ghost world to save the person he wanted to save. You can get up first. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the old man immediately removed the energy from Lin Rei's body. Lin Rei, who had returned to normal, quickly got up from the ground and flew to the old man. He lowered his head and stood behind the old man like an obedient child who had done something wrong. At this moment, the old man turned to look at Lin Rei with doting eyes. He asked curiously, Xiaorui, why did you kill the people from the Qingkuan sect just now? What grudge do you have with them? Tell me, when I have the time, I will look for that old man Qingkuan to seek justice for you. Hearing this, everyone was sweating profusely. In the entire divine world, only this person and the supreme gods in the divine world dared to call the Qingkuan cauldron that way. Plop. Lin Rei did not hear the old man's words. He did not say anything and directly kowtowed to the old man in the air. Tears fell from his eyes unconsciously. You. What are you doing? Get up quickly, get up quickly. Seeing Lin Rei suddenly kneel, the old man's heart thumped. A bad premonition appeared. Grandfather, it's because I didn't protect Ling En well. It's my fault. When I went to the profound sky continent, I didn't stay by their side. You. What's wrong? What's wrong with my granddaughter? Tell me quickly. The old man already had this premonition. When he heard Lin Rei say this, in addition to all the previous actions, he knew that something had happened to his granddaughter. Ling was forced to die when the sect was besieged. My son, he also died in that battle. It's all my fault. I didn't protect them well. It's all my fault. As Lin Rei spoke, he could not stop blowing on his chest with one hand. At this moment, he had already cried to the point of suffocation. When he thought of the time when he was in the profound heaven realm, he was filled with endless regret. How could this be? Ling she. At this point, the old man's body trembled. The energy in his body was in chaos at this moment. His eyes were red, and his body seemed to fall from the sky. Linley, who had been observing the old man the entire time, hurriedly stood up to help him up. However, just as he reached out to help him up, a majestic and heavy energy instantly knocked Linley's hand away. My Ling, why are you? It's grandfather's fault. Grandfather didn't protect you well, looking at the old man, Linley's heart was filled with guilt. Similarly, if he was given another chance, he would rather not go to the profound sky continent than let his wife and child be in danger. If he was given another chance, he would rather take his wife and child with him wherever he went, and never let them out of his sight for even half a second. However, he knew that all of this was irreversible. The only thing he could do now was to do his best to bring Jin Ling back from the ghost realm and let her be reborn. In comparison, he would not hesitate to pay any price, even if he had to give up his life. At this moment, the old man saw a lot. His originally black and beautiful hair, at this moment, after learning about the death of his family, there was a lot of white hair on his head. His face paled a little. At this moment, the old man no longer had the demeanor of an expert. Who is it? Who killed my granddaughter? Tell me who it is. However, an expert was an expert after all. Although he was dispirited, when he thought of his granddaughter's murderer, he cheered up. Hearing this, Lin Rei's heart ached. At this moment, killing intent surged out uncontrollably from his body. Baleful aura and killing intent exploded out uncontrollably at this moment. The one who killed Ling was none other than the Qingkuan sect. They were envious of everything that my Xuanzong sect had. At that time, I was in seclusion cultivation and someone spread the news of my death. Since then, the Qinkuan sect, along with the other big sects and empires in the immortal world, besieged my Xuanzong sect. At that time, most of the disciples of the Xuanzong sect weren't in the sect. That's why such a tragedy happened. What? Qinkuan sect? At this moment, the Qinkuan sect's elder Su Ning's heart skipped a beat. His face was filled with shock. He didn't know about this at all. What? Qinkuan sect? Hearing Lin Rei's words, the old man glared at Su Ning, who was still sprawled on the ground. The killing intent in his heart could not help but burst forth. Yes. The murderer must pay with his life. The debtor must pay with his money. The Qinkuan sect of the immortal world, as well as the sects and empires that killed Ling, and millions of lives were taken. However, I didn't expect the God world to have a Qinkuan sect as well. That's why I said that I wouldn't let them off. SSS, at this moment, Lin Rei's words were heard by everyone present. Millions of lives were taken. And this price wasn't even enough to offset the hatred from before. In comparison, everyone had a new understanding of this young man before them. At this moment, Gu Si and Lu Yunhan were in the crowd. When they heard Lin Rei's words, they were so shocked that they couldn't breathe. Millions of lives were taken. What sort of concept was this? This was something that they had never seen before. At this moment, Gu Si also understood why Lin Rei had such a huge reaction when he heard about the Qinkuan sect. No one would disregard the hatred of killing one's wife and children. When the old man heard Lin Rei's words, he was equally shocked. So many lives were taken just for 2 days. At this moment, the anger in his heart was mostly extinguished. Yes. Since that's the case, what do you want to do next? As long as you say it, my entire Gu family will be at your disposal. Hearing this, Lin Rei's face lit up. Then, he said slowly, no need. You just need to remove the energy from everyone here. Leave the rest to your grandson. When he heard Lin Rei calling himself his grandson, the old man's face darkened for a moment. Then, he nodded his head in agreement. Then, he waved his hand and the energy suppressing everyone disappeared. After doing all this, the old man walked to the side and quietly watched what was going to happen next. At this moment, the energy was gone. Everyone regained their freedom and stood up. The old man who helped Su Ning all retreated to the side. Even the instigator, Peng Long, retreated to the side. As long as one wasn't a fool, one wouldn't help in this matter. You all, when the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. Seeing that everyone was trying to get rid of their relationship with him, Su Ning was instantly defeated. Humph. Now, it's time to settle the matter between us. Elder of Qinkuan sect. Seeing that everyone had retreated, Su Ning was the only one left from Qinkuan sect. He started to feel afraid. No. Fellow Taoist, the matter of killing your wife and child was done by Qinkuan sect from the lower realm. This has nothing to do with the upper realm. How about this? Let me go and we'll forget about the grudge between us. Today, you killed so many of my Qinkuan sect's disciples. What do you think? In front of one's life, face wasn't important. Seeing how cowardly Su Ning was, Lin Rei sneered. He walked to the top of Su Ning and looked down at him. The killing intent in his eyes grew stronger. Humph, Qinkuan sect. Do you think that I will be afraid? Don't worry. I will make a trip to Qinkuan sect in the divine world sooner or later. Not only me, I will bring my dead wife and child with me. You will be in the Yellow Springs. Oh, that's not right. Because you won't even have the chance to become a ghost. Hearing that, Su Ning was stunned. He wanted to make a move, but at this moment, Su Ning's body froze. He felt a cold sensation on his neck. Subconsciously, Su Ning looked down and saw a dagger with mysterious blood runes on it pressed against his neck. No. Don't. His eyes were filled with pleading, fear, and fear. He began to beg for mercy, but Linley didn't even look at him. Linley, who was in the air, turned around and didn't say anything. He waved his hand. At this moment, 15, who was standing behind Su Ning and holding the mysterious blood-patterned dagger, nodded and then moved his hand. In the next moment, blood spurted out from the wound. However, the blood did not fall to the ground. Instead, the moment the blood spurted out, it turned in the air and came to the dagger in 15's hand. Gulp. Gulp. At this moment, Bloodrinker's voice resounded in everyone's hearts. They would never forget this moment. How? How is this possible? The dagger in 15's hand was obtained by Lin Ray from a lucky draw. It was named Blood-Drinking Dagger, and he thought that he would never use such an evil weapon in his life. Who knew that he would have to use it today? Seeing her blood flowing out uncontrollably, Su Ning subconsciously raised her hand to cover the bleeding wound, but it didn't work. The blood in her body seemed to be out of her control and was flowing away little by little. Besides, at this moment, he felt that not only his blood, but even his soul and body were slowly being devoured. In an instant, Su Ning couldn't help but recall what Lin Ray said about him not being able to do even if he became a ghost. In an instant, Su Ning was filled with regret. He regretted having evil intentions and everything that he had done. Chapter 559. Time passed bit by bit. Su Ning did not die until the old man's blood and soul were completely devoured. This scene was witnessed by everyone present. At this moment, they gained a new understanding of the mysterious young man before them. Although they had heard that he would not hesitate to kill over 1 million people for a reward, they had now witnessed with their own eyes the way he killed a person. It was so cruel and ruthless. At this moment, his appearance had left an unerasable mark in everyone's heart. Seeing Su Ning and the entire Qingkuan sect die, Lin Ray turned around and didn't even look at Su Ning, who was lying on the ground. He raised his head and looked at the surviving forces. With a cold expression, he said loudly, "Now, I will give you all a chance to choose. Leave or stay. Of course, if you don't leave, I don't mind making you a part of this forest." As he said that, Lin Ray held the Chaos Dragon Spear in front of him. At this moment, over 20 Azura race people appeared behind Lin Ray. They released their cultivation and suppressed everyone. The 3 upper gates are willing to leave. Dao friend, let's part ways here. Not long after Linley finished speaking, the elders of the 3 upper gates hurriedly made their stance clear. At this moment, unless that person was an idiot and couldn't see the current situation, he wouldn't stay for even half a second. As expected, when one sect left, the others left as well. In the end, only the Divine Sect and Enigma Palace were left. Looking at them with a cold face, he asked with a gloomy face, "What? Do you want to fight again?" As soon as he said that, the remaining sect's expressions changed. They quickly smiled and said, "No, no, 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 no. We have one now. Dao friend, let's part ways here." As they said that, they left again. Now, only the Divine Sect was left. Lin Ray also saw that. Looking at the 2 familiar figures in the Divine Sect, Lin Ray didn't greet them. "Dao friend, if you have time, come visit my Divine Sect. Our doors will always be open for you." Hearing Pang Long's words, Lin Ray sneered. Then, he turned around and walked away. As for Lin Ray's coldness, Pang Long didn't feel awkward at all. With a laugh, he turned around and quickly left with the Divine Sect disciples. Before they left, Gu Si and Lu Yunhan could not help but turn around to glance at Lin Ray. As for the Falling Star Pavilion, they had stayed out of the matter the entire time. When they sensed that the situation was not good, they immediately led their disciples and left. Finally, the battle ended just like that. At this moment, the old man Lin Ray calmed down, and his murderous aura was instantly withdrawn. The 20 or so Shura clansmen hid themselves in the sky after everyone left, protecting Lin Rei and the others. He, Xiaorui, I didn't expect your cultivation to be so strong after we last met. At this moment, one of the spectators hurried over with a smile on his face. Although the old man was smiling, Lin Rei could see the sadness in his eyes. Not bad. But compared to Grandpa's cultivation, I still have to continue working hard. He. Seeing how humble Lin Rei was, the old man was even happier. Alright, let's go. Follow me to the ancient clan to take a look. With that, he led Lin Rei into the depths of the forest. As for Lu Ying and the others, the moment Lin Rei left, they also released their cultivation and chased after Lin Rei. The ancient clan was not far from the forest. In less than 10 minutes, everyone arrived above the ancient clan. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was above the ancient clan, was shocked when he saw the ancient clan's buildings. How was this a building? It was clearly the eye of a formation. Let's go. Follow me down. Sit down and tell me what happened and what you're doing here. Looking at the old man, Lin Rei nodded. I understand, Grandpa. At this moment, Lu Ying and the others had parted ways with Lin Li. Lu Ying instructed his subordinates to send them somewhere else. The two of them landed in the ancient clan's courtyard and sat down in a pavilion. The old man looked at Lin Rei curiously. Looking at the old man's expression, Lin Rei recounted everything that happened after he left. However, because his memory was incomplete, he didn't tell the whole story. He only told the old man a little bit. The old man listened very seriously the entire time. He was like a child who was listening attentively. He nodded, shook his head, sighed, and worried at times. He was very cute. And when Lin Li said that he and Jean Ling had a son together, he was shocked. The old man became emotional. Xiaorui, you said that you and Ling Er had a son. Then he, hearing the old man's words, Lin Li's face was filled with sorrow as he said, dead. He also died in that battle. Hearing this, the old man's heart ached even more. Although he hadn't seen him before, he was his biological grandson after all. Blood was thicker than water. Seeing the old man's sadness, Lin Rei recalled Jean En's appearance. Then, he released his cultivation and used his spirit power to create Jean En's appearance. This is my good grandson? Looking at the child created with spirit power, the old man couldn't help but stand up excitedly. His face was full of surprise. This is En. Because Ling Er was in a lot of pain when she gave birth to him, she named him Jean En. It means that he should repay her kindness by giving birth to him. What, he's Jean. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the old man was shocked. It was such a big decision to let a son follow his wife's surname. From this, it could be seen how deep Lin Rei's love for Jean Ling was. After speaking, Jean En's figure didn't disappear. Instead, he continued to talk about what he still remembered. Just like that, he talked for 3 days and 3 nights. The two of them sat in the pavilion and talked non-stop about Lin Rei's life. Alas! It's a pity that Ling Er died too early. It's not easy for her to have a husband like you. At this moment, after talking about his previous experience, Lin Rei's eyes were relaxed, and he sighed. Grandpa, I came here to discuss something with you. I don't know if you agree. Seeing that his power had matured, Lin Li hurriedly explained why he had come here in a roundabout way. Oh, what is it? As long as you say it, no matter what it is, I can agree. Really? Hearing the old man's words, Lin Rei's eyes lit up, and then he stood up excitedly. His eyes were full of ecstasy. When did Grandpa lie to you? Tell me, what do you want to do? Lin Rei didn't hide this. After all, this was also related to the lives of his granddaughter and great-grandson. I want to go to the 9th Nether Ghost Realm. As soon as these words came out, the old man, who was smiling a moment ago, heard Lin Rei's words, and the next moment, the old man's face turned cold. Lin Rei, who had been observing the old man's state, saw the obvious change in the old man's state, and immediately knew that this matter was very troublesome. Sure enough, the old man spoke in the next moment. His tone was very serious as he said to Lin Rei, "Don't talk about this matter. I can't help you. You also know that my ancient family has been guarding this place for generations to protect the seal here, so..." At this point, the old man didn't continue. When Lin Rei heard his words, his face darkened, and he hurriedly said, "Grandpa, don't refuse first. I want to go to the ghost realm to find the ghosts of Ling Air and En Air. As long as I find them, I have a way to revive them, and don't talk about it. This matter concerns the life and death of the God realm. This matter is not negotiable. Xiao Rui, it's not that Grandpa doesn't agree, but there are billions of people in the God realm. Do you think Grandpa will harm others for his own family?" Seeing how stubborn the old man was, Lin Rei became anxious. He originally thought that for the sake of his granddaughter's life, the old man would bend a little, but now it seemed that it wasn't the case. Grandpa, Lin Rei, who wanted to make a final struggle, was stopped by the old man before he could say anything. "That's enough. Grandpa welcomes you very much. I'll take you around for a few days. After that, you can leave." With that, the old man stood up and said again, "Let's go to your room and have a look." After saying that, he walked away. At this moment, when he knew that it was useless to say anything more, Lin Rei didn't make any pointless struggle. "Hee, kid, can't you see for yourself if he doesn't tell you? In any case, you're also a supreme level array. Tell me, if you were to wear this, wouldn't it be embarrassing for you to be a supreme level array?" Just as Lin Rei was worrying, the little dragon's voice came. Suddenly, Lin Rei came to a realization. He smiled and said, "Humph, damn little dragon. Why didn't you say so earlier? You made me waste so much time talking to Grandpa." Although Lin Rei said so, he was still grateful to the little dragon. After all, if it wasn't for the little dragon, he wouldn't know the way to enter the ghost realm. Thinking of this, Lin Rei quickly chased after the old man who had disappeared in front of him. Time passed little by little. Ever since the old man parted ways with him, he didn't come back. This was even more beneficial to Lin Rei. Because he had the password, he could move freely in the entire ancient clan. He could even enter and exit the scripture pavilion freely. In these few days, Lin Rei would go to a few places to have a look. After wandering around for a few days, Lin Rei had a little understanding of the array that sealed the ghost realm. This array wasn't just a killing array. It included trapping, killing, illusion, and all kinds of other methods. It could be said that it gathered all the functions of an array into one. Looking at such a huge red array, Lin Rei began to have an interest in studying it. However, in order to quickly enter the ghost realm, Lin Rei could be said to be studying the ancient clan's array day and night. What Lin Rei didn't know was that the old man had been watching him from behind. Because of the old man's strength, the Shura clan hidden in the air didn't notice him at all. Chapter 560. Although I can't help you, it's up to you whether you can enter the world of spirits and souls. Over the past few days, the old man who was hiding in the air had discovered that the Xiao Rui he knew was not only a divine ancestor realm expert, but also a very profound array master. In comparison, the old man had been observing him and letting him do whatever he wanted. However, Lin Rei still disagreed with all this. He always thought that he would not agree. Over the past few days, Lin Li had discovered some of the mysteries of this formation. This formation was arranged in a way that corresponded to the 360 stars. The stomach was so enormous that if one tried to force their way in, it would only backfire. If one couldn't get in, one would end up buried within. Lin Rei had a headache when it came to this level of array. Although he was already a venerable array master, this was only in terms of cultivation. In fact, he had not operated it yet. You brat, how could you forget what I told you? At this moment, the little dragon's voice suddenly sounded. Chindan was puzzled. What? Looking at Lin Rei's confused look, the little dragon slapped his forehead with his hand and then said helplessly, "You have a good memory. Didn't I say before that you don't need to break the seal at all? You can enter the world of spirits and souls as long as you get the broken teleportation. You forgot. Damn, why didn't you say so earlier?" Hearing the little dragon's words, Chindan cursed and scolded himself in his heart. "TSK, I thought you were interested in this array. Who knew you would forget about that?" The little dragon did not agree with Lin Rei's complaint at all and immediately retorted. In contrast, Lin Rei could only smile awkwardly. After all, this was his fault. He did not think of it. Okay, stop talking. Let's hurry up and go. We've wasted so much time here. With that, Lin Rei could not wait any longer. He was very anxious. He wanted to see his dead wife and child. Let's go to the center of this array. That's where the array is the weakest. It's easier to enter the world of spirits and souls. All right. Hearing this, Lin Rei nodded. Then he rose into the air and flew towards the center of the formation that he had observed over the past few days. Don't you want to tell your friends? Are they still waiting for you? During the flight, the little dragon couldn't help but be curious and asked Lin Rei. Hearing this, Lin Rei thought for a moment and finally shook his head. Forget it, we're going to the ghost realm. There's no telling what kind of danger we'll encounter there. If I let them go, I'll have to take care of them. If it's just me, it'll be much easier. Hearing this, the little dragon didn't say anything else. Lin Rei flew at high speed without stopping. In just a few minutes, Lin Rei finally arrived at the center of the ancient race's array formation. Alright, hurry up and get your stuff. When they arrived at the place designated by the little dragon, Lin Rei anxiously said to the little dragon. "Heh, you brat." Seeing Lin Rei's state of mind, the little dragon couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. Then, without saying anything else, a transmission vortex instantly appeared in front of him. It exuded a mysterious aura that made him want to prostrate himself in worship. Linley was puzzled by the sudden appearance of this blue vortex. This is a teleportation array? Yes, that's right. Don't underestimate him. Hurry up and go in. I can feel that someone is heading towards this place quickly. If someone comes, it'll be troublesome. Hearing the little dragon's warning, Lin Rei didn't hesitate. He stepped into the blue vortex and disappeared. The moment Lin Rei disappeared, the blue vortex also disappeared from the ancient race. And the moment Lin Rei and the vortex disappeared, the old man instantly appeared in the center of the formation. At the place where Lin Rei was previously, he looked at the place where Lin Rei disappeared with a puzzled gaze. At the same time, the old man released his divine sense and began to scan the entire ancient race. However, to his disappointment, there wasn't even a shadow of Lin Rei in the entire ancient race. In comparison, the old man's heart was filled with shock. Could he have entered the world of spirits and souls? With this thought in mind, he began to check the stability of the formation. Was it damaged? 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 I think this brat is so powerful that he can even manipulate a saint-level formation. Looks like I've underestimated him. With that, the old man smiled and sighed. Then, he lifted his leg and walked into the distance, leaving the center of the formation. At this moment, Lu Ying and the others, who were still in the ancient race, didn't know that their backbone, Lin Rei, had already left the world of gods and left them. Huff, huff, at this moment, at the entrance of Death Canyon, a group of people rushed out. Every single one of them had a look of shock and fear on their faces. It was as though there was something frightening within. Huff, we're finally out. This group of people wasn't anyone else. They were the top sects of God's sect that were scared off by Lin Rei. At this moment, within God's Sect's camp, everyone was filled with fear. Their minds were still replaying the scene of Lin Ray killing those people. That scene was like a curse that kept repeating in their minds, refusing to dissipate. Let's go and report back. The Qinkuan sect is the most pitiful one right now. All of the people who came were elites, and there was even a God Lord Elder. This time around, Qinkuan sect has suffered a huge loss. Looks like they've really suffered a huge blow. At this moment, Peng Long was at the entrance of Death Canyon. Looking at the entrance, his Adonis couldn't help but sigh. That's right. Qinkuan sect has suffered a huge loss this time around. If word of this were to spread, even their grandmaster would be too embarrassed to come out. Even though this was what everyone was saying, they knew that no one could speak of this matter. After all, they had witnessed Lin Ray's strength for themselves. Just by saying that he was avenging his wife and children, he had killed over 1 million people. This was a number that they had never seen or done in their entire lives. All right. Since we're all back, let's not talk about what happened inside anymore. Especially that seal on the 6th level that leads to the ghost world. Let's just bury this matter in our stomachs. If the outside world asks about it, let's just say that we didn't go that deep. We were only at the 2nd level and were blocked at the 3rd level. At this moment, an elder of Heaven's Gate of the upper 3 sects stood out and said to everyone. Yes, Dao brother you is right. Let's leave this matter at that then. Looking at how everyone agreed with him, Dao brother you smiled and nodded his head. He then waved his hands and led his disciples to bid everyone farewell. All right, fellow Dao brothers, we'll take our leave first. If fate allows it, we'll meet again in the future. With that, dozens of people soared into the skies and flew off into the distance. Before long, all of them disappeared into the horizon. Looking at the departure of Heaven's Gate, everyone felt that there was no point in staying here any longer. Thus, they all waved goodbye. That's all then. Fellow Dao brothers, we'll take our leave now. If fate allows it, we'll meet again. With that, one by one, the sects and acquaintances disappeared. As the saying went, all good things must come to an end. Let's go. It's time for us to report back. Remember, don't tell anyone about the annihilation of Qinkuan sect. Treat it as though nothing happened. Do you hear me? At this moment, the last divine sect turned around and looked at Death Valley. Peng Long quickly warned everyone, yes, Elder Peng Long. We'll remember that. Seeing them nod their heads, Peng Long was relieved. This matter wasn't something they could do. One had to know that Qinkuan sect was the winner of this year's Tendo gathering. They had weapons bestowed upon them by the Tendo. Alright, let's go. After saying that, everyone soared into the sky and turned into a stream of light, disappearing into the horizon. The originally bustling Death Canyon became cold and cheerless at that moment. What? Young Master is missing? At this moment, it had been 3 days since Lin Ray left. In these 3 days, Luying moving figure had been searching for Lin Ray every single day. However, they couldn't find him. Even their communication talismans weren't useful. What they found strange was that Lin Ray had disappeared. However, the 20 over Shura clan members who were protecting Lin Ray didn't disappear. However, it wasn't that they didn't disappear completely. 15 of them had disappeared. Yes, that's right. Brother Lei disappeared. Looking at the surprised male disciples, Luying moving figure was full of friendliness. In this place, there were many things that they couldn't explain. Therefore, as Lin Ray's wife, she was very worried. Then what should we do? Instantly, everyone panicked. Lin Ray was their backbone. Now that Lin Ray had disappeared, they were panicking. Why don't we ask the people who are protecting us? They have been following young master. Perhaps they know something. At this moment, the anxious Lin Tian spoke. At this moment, he had no other choice. Even if it didn't work, he had to try. Hearing Lin Tian's words, Lu Ying moving figure was delighted. Then, he said to the sky, "Do you guys know where young master went? If you do, tell us." Instantly, the sky fell into silence. Lu Ying moving figure asked the male disciples who didn't reply, "Do you guys know where young master went?" After he said that, there was a long silence like before. Just as they were about to give up, a man in black walked out. Seeing that the person who appeared was the person who helped them previously, Lu Ying moving figure excitedly went to the man's side. He reached out and grabbed both of the man's arms as he said anxiously, "Do you know where young master went? Do you know where young master went? Quick, tell us, tell us." The male disciple next to him, Lin Tian, saw that Lu Ying was so agitated. Instantly, he went to her side and pulled the two of them apart. "Sister-in-law, don't panic. Listen to what he has to say." Lu Ying, who was pulled over, knew that he had lost his composure. He calmed himself down and nodded, "Yes, I got it." Chapter 561. Everyone, you don't have to look anymore. Young master has already entered the ghost realm, so you won't be able to find him. What, ghost realm? Once the Azura man said that, everyone was stunned. Although they knew that they could enter the ghost realm from this place, they didn't know why Lin Ray wanted to come here. Through the information just now, they knew that Lin Ray wanted to enter the ghost realm from the beginning. "Alright, you can go." After knowing that Lin Ray was fine, Lu Ying waved his hand and dismissed the Azura man. When he thought about how Lin Ray was in the ghost realm at this moment, he couldn't help but feel worried and burst out. "Alright, since we know that Lei Ji is fine, let's wait here. Since Lei Ji doesn't want South Gate to follow him, we'll wait here. We'll wait until he comes back." Knowing that Lin Ray was fine, the man sat down on a chair and ate an apple as he spoke to Lu Ying and the others. That's right. Young master didn't want us to follow him because he was thinking of us. After all, our cultivation isn't high enough. Even if we enter the ghost realm, what can we do? At most, we'll be a burden to young master. This is the best outcome." Hearing their words, Lu Ying fell silent. Although he didn't know what Lin Ray was doing in the ghost realm, he had slowly guessed that this matter had a lot to do with Jean Ling and Jean En. Then let's get busy here. Before Lei Ji comes back, let's recuperate in the ancient residence. We can also take this opportunity to cultivate, comprehend, and increase your realm. The two of them were very obedient to Lu Ying's words. We understand." Seeing that there was nothing else, Lu Ying left the room. At this moment, their entire conversation was heard by the old man, but no one knew about this. Brat, the rest is up to you. Since you were able to come out of the sealed Sky Xian realm, it means that this magic array is just an empty shell. I hope that you can bring my granddaughter and great-grandson back with you when you return." Meanwhile, Lin Ray, who had entered the tunnel, was completely unaware of what was happening in the outside world. At this moment, Lin Ray's face was filled with shock when he arrived at a place where the river was completely yellow. Floating corpses were floating on the surface of the river from time to time. F***CK, we've been here for so long and we still haven't reached the end. What the F***CK do they want? At this moment, Lin Ray, who was walking on the road, looked at the pitch-black road in front of him and felt a headache. "Alright, stop complaining. The road to the underworld leads to the underworld. What else do you want? Do you really think that I can send you directly to the ghost realm with a transmission? You're dreaming." At this moment, the little dragon, who had not spoken since they arrived here, finally spoke. However, the little dragon's information on this path was a little too broad, and Lin Ray couldn't take it for a moment. The road to the underworld leads to the underworld. F***CK, it can't be. I always thought that the road to the underworld was just a saying. I didn't expect it to really exist. After knowing that the road he was walking on was the road to the underworld that only the dead could walk on, Lin Ray became excited. Originally, he was still lifeless with a face full of complaints, but in the next moment, he became a curious baby, looking around playfully. TCH, you think too much. Also, don't underestimate this road to the underworld. If there's no special method, even an emperor god will be buried here. What? Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei hurriedly went to the center of the road, no longer acting as recklessly as before. How is that possible? Even an emperor god can't pass through, then I. At this moment, Lin Rei's face was filled with horror. If an emperor god couldn't pass through, how could he, a mere divine ancestor, pass through? Heh, that's up to you. Hearing this, Lin Rei rolled his eyes and directly through the little dragon to let him experience it for himself. At first, Lin Rei thought that the little dragon was just joking, but who knew that after he finished speaking, no sound came out. F***ck, you can't be serious, right? Lin Rei was really puzzled by the little dragon's actions at this moment. He only knew that this was the road to the underworld, and the rest was a complete mystery. Asking him to pass through the underworld and enter the ghost realm like this, wasn't this a joke? He didn't make a sound. He really despised the little dragon's very irresponsible heart, but there was no other way. He couldn't do anything. Sigh. Looks like I still have to rely on myself. With that, Lin Rei began to walk forward. He no longer acted as he did when he first arrived here, walking forward without any scruples. Since he already knew the danger here, if he acted like before, he would die quickly. Woo woo woo. Suddenly, at this moment, not long after Lin Rei and the little dragon ended their conversation, a voice similar to the one at the beginning of a horror movie sounded. No way, right? Although he was worried about the danger, his footsteps didn't stop and continued to move forward. Kid, you're really something. You actually came to the underworld alone. You really don't know what's good for you? Suddenly, at this moment, a loud and vicissitude voice sounded. Instantly, Lin Rei's footsteps came to a halt. He narrowed his eyes and looked around vigilantly, trying to find the person who spoke. No need to look, I'm right in front of you. Hearing this, Lin Rei quickly turned his head and saw a transparent old man appearing in front of him. However, looking at the disdain on the old man's face, Lin Rei's expression suddenly turned cold. Who are you? Are you trying to block my way? Block your way? Hearing Lin Rei's words, the old man said with a disdainful smile. So what if I'm blocking your way? What can you do to me? You're just a little cultivator at the peak of the divine sect. I'm the famous god emperor Tian Rong. You decide what you can do to me. Lin Rei felt helpless at Tian Rong's words. After all, he was right. The difference between a god emperor and a divine sect was huge. Even if he brought 15 divine monarchs, the difference was still huge. Speak, what do you want? Hearing this, the old man's eyes suddenly lit up. Compared to Lin Rei, of course, he could see that the old man had something to ask of him. Kid, you're smart. However, you're wrong. I'm not begging you. Only you can do this in the future. Seeing the old man's tough attitude, Lin Rei was unhappy. There was nothing he could do. After all, the old man was a god emperor. As the saying goes, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. Lin Rei didn't want to fall out with him until the last moment. Alright, tell me. As long as the request wasn't too excessive, Lin Rei would satisfy it. However, if the old man asked for something he couldn't accept, then this matter would fall apart. What this old man wants is, speaking of this, Tian Rong's eyes became shifty as he looked at Lin Rei's body. His eyes were filled with greed. At this moment, Lin Rei thought of a word that made him shudder. Possession. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's face turned cold. He hoped that this wasn't what he was thinking. However, the result was always a headache. Can you satisfy what I want? Saying this, he raised his hand and pointed at Lin Rei's body. He said greedily, I want your body. Whoosh. As soon as Tian Rong finished speaking, before Lin Ray could react, he turned into a ray of light and rushed towards Lin Ray's body. At this moment, Tian Rong didn't know that Lin Ray, who had already expected this, was already prepared. The moment he saw Tian Rong rushing towards him, he instantly used the illusory spirit blood fire to envelop his body. Just as Tian Rong's soul was about to enter Lin Ray's body, the illusory spirit blood fire was released and successfully resisted Tian Rong's possession. Not only that, but because the illusory spirit blood fire was a natural enemy of cold things, the moment Tian Rong touched the illusory spirit blood fire, his originally solid soul became weak. Not only that, the moment Tian Rong's soul touched the illusory spirit blood fire, he couldn't get rid of it and began to burn his soul. Ah! Along with a blood-curdling scream that resounded throughout the road to the underworld, the other souls that wanted to possess Lin Ray's body began to slowly retreat after seeing Tian Rong. They didn't dare to come any closer. I beg you. Let me go. I won't dare to do it again. At this moment, Tian Rong no longer had the arrogance from before. The feeling of being burned by the illusory spirit blood fire was no longer the same. Humph. Let you go? You have such evil thoughts about me. Are you sure this matter can be settled peacefully? After saying that, without waiting for Tian Rong to speak, he casually threw out another illusory spirit blood fire. Tian Rong's soul was already on the verge of dispersing due to the illusory spirit blood fire. After being stacked with the illusory spirit blood fire, even his soul power was no longer of any use. Ah! Bastard! This old man is not reconciled. This old man is not reconciled. Looking at Tian Rong, who was roaring at the sky, his soul body exploded before he could finish his sentence. Bits and pieces of his soul power dissipated into the long river of time. Heh! Why didn't you take good care of him? Why did you have to come out and cause trouble? Really? Seeing that the trouble before him was resolved, Lin Ray didn't feel complacent because of this victory. He knew that the following battles would be even more difficult. Ha ha ha. Kid, not bad. I didn't expect that you would be able to kill a fool whose soul power is at the level of the celestial god in such a situation. But in the future, you don't have to let him die completely. You can give him to me. I have a use for it. In response to the little dragon's words, Lin Ray didn't say anything. He simply nodded in agreement. TSK, stingy. You're still angry. Didn't I just hope that you can fight the enemy without my help? After saying that, the little dragon didn't say anything else and silently returned to the system. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.